What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It has been quite some time since we've been able to finally reconvene here at the V1 HQ, getting on a live stream coming at you from North Texas, where it's a nice, cool 103 degrees Fahrenheit today. Not bad, not bad. I'll take 103, 102 over 110 any day. I know it doesn't sound like a big difference, but it actually is. But what is up, man? It has been, gosh, I think it's YouTube said it was like 10 days or something since the last stream. Been crazy busy. I appreciate all the messages in Discord and everyone, and on the YouTube shorts that I was sending out to members. Had a lot going on the last few days. Have a lot coming up as well, but I think it's going to cool down here next week. So may not hear from me again till Monday, but I'm going to try hard to get something going live this weekend again. But I feel like we just need to sit back, catch up. We got a lot to talk about. We got training that I went through. We got to talk about some other stuff that's going on around the airlines. We got to talk about some Oshkosh stuff. So I figured today would be a perfect stream. We're just going to continue southbound out of Bala Maceda and head down to, I have no idea how to say, Ushuaia. SAWH is the airport. It's pretty much the southernmost point of the South America tour. We're going to land down there. Again, picked up another airport from the same folks over here at Simulation Extrema. Should be a lot of fun. Should be a beautiful flight. I got us going along the Andes. Our route is going to take us down the Andes a little bit further south, and then we're going to do a VOR approach today, which is going to be a lot of fun. We'll fly with a VOR, do a circle, come back around. It's going to be a lot of fun. Is it a dry heat? It's like 25 to 30%, Spencer gang. But just a couple shout outs. Scott, good to see you. Jeff L, always a pleasure. What's up, man? Robinson J. Santana, good to see you. Stephen Hayner, Cleared Direct Fubar, howdy, sir. Brian James Monks, Chris Rund, good to see you, sir. Welcome to the stream. Jeremy Harvey is in the house. Thank you so much, man. Congrats on another successful check ride. Appreciate you, Jeremy Harvey. Folks, a link is in the description for Jeremy Harvey music. He's got the album of all the countdown songs. If you like the songs that we had for all the different tours, he's got that available on his website. Do support him because he has supported this channel from the very beginning as well, with all his custom sounds and emojis and countdown themes. So thank you so much, Jeremy. Good to see you. Matt Warren, good to see you. Geographically Inverted, interesting name. Appreciate you, man. Welcome to the stream. Welcome, Matt Warren. I think I already said hello to you. Paul Smith, Alex W, former Texas in the house. What's up, man? Good to see you. Alex Runar, good to see you, my friend. And Chaos as well. Many more tuning in as we get this stream going. Key 6, good to see you, my friend. New Jersey is like 80% humid. Yeah, but it's only like 90 degrees, right? I don't know. There's a lot to debate about humidity versus relative humidity and dry heat. It's kind of, there's no straight answer, you know? There's no straight answer. Depending, like up until like 90 degrees, if it's humid, it just sucks. If it's 90 to 100 and really humid, it's awful, i.e. South Florida. And then above like 115, it doesn't matter. Like 115 and up, it doesn't matter if it's humid or not. It's basically death. So that's how I look at it. But good to see you guys. What Holger Twitch, good to see you, my friend. Always a pleasure as well. Flight Force 77 again, tuning in as well. Good to see you. Robinson says you're from the DR. I love the heat and humidity. You know what? The humidity doesn't bother me all that much. Maybe it has to do with a lot of time in Arizona where just 112, 113 plus is just, it's miserable. I'll take 90 and humid all day, every day over that. So it's 80% here or 80% humidity with 105 heat. The monsoons are crazy. Oh yeah, monsoon season. I'm all too familiar, my friend. All too familiar. But all right, guys, what's the rattling noise? So that rattling noise you hear are the CFM fan blades spinning around in the wind. And you can see if I kind of zoom in, maybe if I do just an engine view here. Let me see. Inside the cockpit, you won't hear them as much, but it's actually a very, very nice sound. I think it's a little bit loud. Probably could turn it down a little bit. But this is when you have wind blowing and the N1 fan blade is just windmilling there, you get that clanking noise because those blades actually pivot just a little bit. You can see the wind is coming in straight over the terminal here, so it's bouncing off the ground, I'm sure, spinning up those blades. But All right, let's go ahead and get this airplane fired up. We have a little bit longer flight today, which is about an hour and 25 minutes in cruise, which will be good. We'll be able to catch up on all things aviation, catch up on some training stuff I got to tell you about. I got to tell you about my sim experiences. So we're going to fire this airplane up. No faults planned, but as always, we will have random faults enabled. So let's just see what happens. We're going to roll the dice today. Jeremy says, I'm in Maryland right now, and it feels like I just got out of the shower. Oh, yeah. I'm familiar with high humidity. It'll make you sweat. That is for sure. Mateo Chewy, what's going on, man? Happy birthday to V2. Mateo Chewy, thank you, man. Yes, it was my little girl's birthday. So it's time flies, man. It really does. 3 years old is my oldest right now. Unbelievable. I feel like we were just talking about her as a newborn and I was a new dad and we're flying around the Euro tour and stuff, but crazy, crazy, crazy times. Fall has been canceled. Enjoy your summer. Al W. You can't get out of here with that. I'm going to have to delete that membership celebration. Thank you, man, for your 10 months continued support. Yeah, it was a little bit cheeky of me saying is summer over yet. It's funny because, you know, as kids growing up, you want summer to last forever. But, man, now that I'm, you know, obviously not in school or anything like that, and I'm not off during the summer, I guess I should say, I can't wait for summer to be over. I just need everybody to go back to school, go back to work, let fall come, let traffic die down, let the temperatures die down. And my favorite time of the year to fly in real life is, you know, fall going into winter. And probably the month of December is one of my favorite months to fly just because everyone is so happy, the holidays, everybody's is bustling through the terminals and all that stuff. But I do really, really enjoy fall. I get that first fall day of crisp air. Cannot wait for fall. Literally, fall is my favorite time of the year. So, all right, if we just sit here and talk all day, we're never going to get this airplane fired up. 25.6 volts or greater. Boom, we know that. I just came out of an oral exam last week. Excuse me, last week on this airplane. I feel like I can build it for you. We're going to go ahead and power the airplane up. Everything's going to power up here screen-wise. I'm going to go ahead and let's turn down that let's floodlight here. Let's turn that main flood down just a little bit. We turn down the integral lights as well. I don't know why. I just feel like having lights on takes FPS. It probably doesn't, but it's a mental thing. Turn those down. Everything's going to boot up here. Volume is a little low. Difficulty here. The ruler 767 400 GEs. Oof. Let's see. Let me see if I can. You said, oh, I see why it's a little bit low. Here we go. That should be better for you. Let me know if that's better for you. I have boosted that. Let me boost my mic a little bit too. I don't know why it was. There we go. Right about there. That should be better. It looks like some of my sound settings were changed. That might have been from our X-Plane extravaganza when we were breaking the TOLUS. Should be better now. Everything's firing up. We got a smoke detect fault. That's just part of the SIDS coming up. Not an issue. We'll let that do its thing. Continuing with our flow here. Let's go ahead. Cruise supply on. Ground control on. CVR test. Beep. Captain per switch to captain. I got to play with the evac command push button in my sim as well. That was always fun. 1, 2, and 3. We'll go status, position 1. Oh, didn't mean to drop that. Over here, we'll go strobe into auto, nav position 1, seatbelts off, no smoking auto, arm the emergency exit lights, cabin pressurization into auto position. I know it's kind of funny. I saw Flightdeck to Sim posted a little shorts or a little story on his YouTube about the oxygen panel being backlit in the 737. I guess that has like a little green light that shines on the oxygen mask for the 737. And I just commented, I said, well, you know, the Airbus doesn't depressurize, so you don't need to keep it backlit. But I'm sure the Boeing drivers aren't too familiar with this lovely little knob right here, which I also got to play with this in the simulator as well. We can talk about that later, but always fun to rib a little bit at the Boeing guys. We'll continue the overhead panel flow here. We got 4 fault lights. That looks good. Tank pumps are off. Engine fire test 1. Engine fire test 2. And the APU's already been tested. Up the right-hand side, everything looks good. We'll go aft here. Ooh, a little bit far. Boop, boop. Out and on for the 3rd PA. Push knob. Beautiful. Let's take a look at the... Yeah, he reacted. I forget what he said. He said something. Oh, he said, where is the report spam comment? He wants to report me as spam. Let's go ahead and check the engine page. We have plenty of oil. Let's check our hydraulics. We're fully serviced. That is good. And let's check pressurization is an auto. It is an auto. Beautiful. Everything else looks good here on the center pedestal and on the first officer pedestal. Brakes are set. Wonderful. Rusty C. Let me go ahead and go here and config real quick. Set this Rusty C for 15 months. Continued support. Thank you so much, man. He says, hello, fine sir. Slowly getting on the Microsoft Flight Simulator train. Ooh. Realistic, failure type, all. Store as default. Done. Thanks to the 146, been copying some of your flights and no joke approaches. Positive rates. Rusty C. Excellent, man. I'm glad to hear that you picked up the 146 and you're enjoying it. I love the 146. I think we need to fly it here pretty soon. It might be the next stream. We might hop in the 146 for a short hop to one more airport, like kind of going northbound, and then we're going to have to take something fast, or maybe like we might get in the 7-3 or something and go continue northbound. But this will be our last flight southbound, and then we're going to turn around and start heading north. Should be a lot of fun. But glad to hear it, Rusty. Thank you for your continued support, my friend. All right. Let's do this. Before we do our McDo, let's come over here and take a look at our situation. 139, 41, and 18.4 on the gas. That's a lot of gas. That seems like a lot of gas for this flight. 18.4? You must have a long alternate. Okay, let's go ahead and let's go ahead and load the aircraft. Real-time loading has commenced. We'll come down here. Let's go to the init page. Let's go ahead and fire this thing up. I love my Microsoft Kool-Aid, but I did enjoy the TOLUS fun. Fubar, you know what? Flying the TOLUS, it really did remind me at why I love that airplane so much and why I love the X-Plane platform so much. You know, it really gives you that sense. You know, the first stream, if you guys missed it, I encourage you to watch some of the emergency streams we did. But that first one we did where we turned on the lift vectors and we were doing steep turns and all that, just to be able to pull that up instantly without, you know, any third-party programs and anything like that, it really does give the vibe up to, here we go, starting to get text messages and all that stuff. I'll probably cue some spam calls here in a minute, but it really did it gives you that vibe of just a professional level flight sim, you know, and you can't deny it. Team Vodka's in the house. What's going on, man? Dude, I like the Bourbon Air VAMSys. Check it out. We're gonna have to get that thing fired up and going. I've been crazy busy, but I think it definitely has potential. Good to see you, Team Vodka. Hope everything is well with you, man. All right, cruise altitude 350. Initially, it was at like 25. I don't know why, but we're going to do 350. We can just align on ref. Yeah, sure, fine. We'll just align on ref. That shouldn't hurt anything. Here we go. SCBA departure. We're going to take off 27. I believe the wind is sort of out of the north, so it doesn't really matter. We're on the SURAT 3 Juliet, or the CERT 3 Juliet. We'll go ahead and insert that. And then from CERTA. You know what I never did? I never did the initialization. Huh? AOC. Look at me. I'm rusty. No. McDo. Atsu. AOC. Flight init. I hope it's not too. I hope I didn't screw anything up. Totally forgot. Danny Rubo says, Danny Rubel says flight level 20 all the way bumped to 35 exactly. All right, let's go back here, and yeah, I messed it up because we already started the initialization. Rip. Oh well. All right, so we'll just do it manually. CERTA. From CERTA, we're gonna load up. Of course, I mess it up when we have a long flight plan. Tango 102. Tango 102 to Quebec 805. We're probably gonna get a direct in here. The .gu transition, no, it is not correct. We're going to NIPLA. Interesting. NIPLA. Thinking. Q sim crash. Let me see here. Data certa .gu. What? No, here we go. Airways, Tango 102, NIPLA. I wonder if it's a high-low situation. Waypoint mismatch. Am I going crazy? Tango 102 off of CERTA. Okay, fine. Let's just put in Quebec 805. Let's see what it looks like. Quebec 805. Oh my gosh, that's not what I meant to do. Quebec 805. I'm not sure where .gu is, but we'll leave it. Quebec 805 to Bodum. Let's see if this will connect. BODOM. There we go. Insert that. That looks good from Bodum. We're going to join Quebec 803. Goodness, this is a hell of a route here. Quebec 803 to Papa November Tango. From PNT, we're taking Victor 110 to NAS. Jeez, Victor 110 to NAS. And I should be able to just put Victor 115 here, and then it should be Sunley. And NAS, Victor 115. There we go, that worked. So it just had one waypoint mismatch. Maybe it has to do with an old database thing. We'll take a look at it. Insert that. That looks good. Then we're gonna set up for the VOR to 25. So we're gonna do VOR 25 on the no star approach via the way of VOR itself. Insert. So we're gonna do this a little bit different than how SimBrief wanted us, because I want to do a VOR approach. We haven't done one in a really long time. This one should be interesting. All right, so let's go ahead and let's start from the top, because why does that have me going northbound? .gu? Something does not look right here, folks. Did it clear out our entire flight plan? It did. Okay, screw it. .gu Usu. Screw it. Done. There's 2 Tango 102, one in EU and one in South America. Thank you, Vodka. Alright, that's fine. We're just going to go direct to the VOR. What's our flight plan distance on this? 872. That's correct. Alright, that's fine. We just typed all that for nothing. Real Fake Pilots in chats. Alpha Mike, thank you for the 3 months membership. He says, new to the sim world, I'm controlling the US and watching your streams. Have been a great insight to see the workload procedures you guys have. Alpha Mike, well, thank you so much, man. Couldn't do it without you. Air traffic control is definitely a vital role in the aviation world. And yeah, glad you tuned in. Glad you're enjoying the content. Thank you for your support, sir. You can see here without PDC, I'm obviously struggling, as now I got to program the box manually, and I totally screwed it up. So, gotta love those PDCs. All right. We're just going to leave the flight plan as is. Secondary, let's go ahead and do a quick inish. SCBA, SCBA. Do I know why I cleared everything out, Jeremy? No, I do not know. I think it might have to do with something of me messing up the initialization, if that makes sense. I don't know why I cleared everything out. I've never seen that in the real airplane before. It could just be a bug. Who knows? If we have to come back around here, we're just going to set up for the RNAV 27. That's fine. RNAV Yankee 27. Secondary perf. We'll come all the way back over here. I don't know what the barrow is. Let's see. Mag wind. We're going to go 040. Temperature is 8 off the ECAM. And QNH, if I hit B, it is 1009, which is 2980. Low pressure. Remember, it is wintertime down here. 2980. And a field elevation of 1700. Let's just call it 2500 in the barrel as a ref. Done. Set. Radnav, nothing. Init B, we're going to mess with that. How is our fuel? Our fuel is good. 18.4 is on board, so let's go ahead and set 18.4. We'll put that in the block fuel column. Let's make sure it is on board and balanced, which 77 is good. Had to balance some fuel the other day, too. Had a little bit of a fuel imbalance situation going on in the real airplane. I wasn't quite sure. We had one engine that was burning about 75 to 100 pounds an hour more consistently. And of course it was the number 1 engine, so that was the engine we were single engine taxiing on, so we had a nice imbalance there we had to even out. But fuel tank pumps are on, seatbelt signs are on. Let's go ahead and prime up the APU because it is chilly, I would imagine. 8 degrees outside. And what is our cabin temp? Let's go 18 in the cabin. Yeah, it's a little bit chilly. It's 28 in the cockpit. I don't know why. All right, that is set. Fuel is set. We're going to leave our flight plan. We're going to just go departure to VOR. That's fine. Top altitude today is 350. That is set. 2 FDs on. This has us going out to the north, which we're going to have to check this out here. But let's go ahead and start this APU. We'll get this APU fired up. Ooh, we have a LATAM next to us. Gotta love it. Alexa says, background lurker here again with next milestone. Hey, Alexi Rastas. Thank you for your continued support, whether you're a background lurker or someone who comments frequently. I really appreciate your support. Thank you for your continued support for 16 months. Those new stripes look good on you. Some cool stuff, too. YouTube has allowed the expansion of membership. So, like, I think it ends right now at, what, 2 years? But now we have 3 and 4. We have a couple more milestones. So I'm going to work on some continued emojis for the next level, which is kind of neat to see YouTube expand upon that. I'll get that fired up here pretty soon. I'm still catching back on everything E1 sim related. You know, just real life just been in the way for the last week and a half. So kind of had to put everything on hold. Haven't been so much in the Discord. Haven't been paying attention to my emails. But finally getting back in the swing of things here. All right, APU is fired up. Let's take a look at this chart here. We still got some boarding to go. Oh, before we do that, let's go ahead and start the chrono as well, so we can see what's going on. At 4 years, V1 adopts us. Fubar, that's funny, man. I don't know if I can handle any more kids. All right, we need to be going to CERTA. So this is the CERTA 3 Juliet to CERTA. What is going on here? Flight plan, departure. 27, CERTA 3, Juliet, to Ball. Where is that? It's like it didn't load the departure. Turn left to intercept the Ball 128. Direct to CERTA. Cross Ball 250 and above flight level 1 or 210 or 12,000 feet. So yeah, it should be 296 and a left turn across at or above 12. I like your idea. Who said that? Maybe request it again in the secondary. Let me try this. Oh, it's gonna have the wrong. Let's see what happened here. I'm really gonna have it screwed up. No, see, look at that. What? Hold on. Secondary, delete secondary. Init request. Secondary flight plan. CERTA. There's our flight plan. Okay. Here we go. So we're gonna do this. CERTA departure 27, CERTA 3 Juliet. Return. And it that looks good. Let's see, does it look like on here? Does it draw it out properly in the secondary? It does. It does. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. This is what we're going to do. We're going to do secondary, activate secondary, check takeoff data. We didn't have any. All right, all the way down, NAS to Sunley. From Sunley, we're going to do the approach. Arrival, VOR 25. I like how the VOR 25 is below the centerline fix. No star. Approach via USU. Insert. There we go. Look at that flight plan. God, I love Airbus. If you're in a Boeing, you'd have to just like do this 74 times. Alright, that's done, and then that should just be correct. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete that disco to bring us directly to the VOR. Alright, so this looks like this. Boom, 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 boom. All the way down. Suddenly it looks like it's actually south of the airport. So what we can do is we'll give ourselves a direct to, how about Amir? After Amir, we're going to go USU, or Almir. So we're going to go Almir, next waypoint, USU, because I want to go fly over the VOR. Insert that. There we go. That looks nice and clean. Now watch ATC get on and be like, where the hell are you going? All right, everything is set up there. 10-mile range. Zoom it back down. We don't have a secondary air return, but we're gonna roll the dice on that one. Everything else looks good. Nav 350. Let's recycle these here real quick. FD's coming on. Boom, boom. 1 FD2. We talked about our departure, so we should put this in the rad nav. So let's do a radial here. 250 radial off Bala Maseda VOR. So we're going to go fix info page, BAL, the one that's closest to me, not Baltimore. There's two of them. We want the VOR, not the ADF. You see here, this is the ADF, this is a VOR. We want the ball, we want the 250 radial. Boom. And if we look here, it actually shows you, you see how we come around here at ball 250, and there's actually a waypoint called ball 250. Flight level at or above, flight level 12,000. Cool, we'll have terrain up on my side as well. We'll put terrain up on both sides. VOR mode on both sides as well. 350 is set. Talked about the departure procedure, no ATC up to 350. Let's come over here and do a quick takeoff perf. Remember, it's pronounced Ushuaia. What? Ushuaia. Ushuaia. All right. I'm going to screw that up. Let's just do wet numbers because I see some snow on the ground. Wet numbers, 27. Optimum, force toga, yes. Packs on. Let's see if it'll give me some info for that. We'll go ahead and calculate. Some of your entries were invalid. Oh, we don't have prelim. That's right. Okay, we don't have prelim. We'll just have to wait. That's fine. We will wait. 139, only 39 people to go. Has it been 3 minutes? It has been 5 minutes. So let's go ahead and turn the APU bleed on. Turn off the external power. We'll leave that there. And I think we're going to go ahead and get the bleeds turned on here. You'll hear them kick on. Call maintenance. All right. Sorry about that distraction there. We got a little confused, and we're back at it. Might be easier to nuke it and redo. Nah, chaos. We got the secondary, so we're good to go. Hey, Captain, how are you today? Looking forward to this flight. Mo Aviation, welcome on board, my friend. Welcome. I'm looking forward to this flight, too. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've got a lot to talk about. I feel like I haven't seen all y'all in so long. We need to catch up. This is like a reunion. Whenever I don't stream for more than 3 or 4 days, it's like, man, I gotta catch up. What's going on? What's new? You know, what's new? Speaking of new, when is the PMDG 73600 coming? I thought that was supposed to be out already. I know not a lot of people are looking forward to it, but I am, because I want to fly the short Boeing. I'll follow you on your new flight, in which will be accompanied by your tasty, useful information to acquire right procedural knowledge and many tips to make the flight experience very entertaining and fun. Awesome, Massimo. Welcome aboard. Hope you enjoy the flight, my friend. Welcome. Any lessons during cruise today? Feeling like a student before class? Oh yeah, we can talk about some stuff today. Link space. 736 is coming pretty soon, reportedly. This weekend. Ooh, that would be interesting. I actually, you know, I really do want the 736. I know a lot of people are just waiting for the 700, but I think the 600 is going to be kind of neat short bus, right? We can probably start closing up the forward and aft cargo since that's done. We'll pull the aft stairs and we'll shut the R2 door. 330 there. That's going to be interesting getting off this runway. I think it's more like Ushuaia, but not a local from this area. I have no idea. No idea how to say it. What are my thoughts on the JetBlue merger? We're going to talk all about that, Matt Warren. We're going to talk all about that. That's big real-world aviation news because it was supposed to be Frontier, right? Frontier all the way, and now they're being terminated, and it's going the other direction. So we're going to have to talk all about that, man. Because I've got some thoughts and opinions on that as well. All right, we can see we've got all our doors closed except the forward boarding door. We've done our fixed info. This goes back on flight plan page. We'll go flight plan. We'll go perf page over here. Actually, we need to do the init B. We'll do init B. Oh, you know what? Son of a gun. The init page needs to take it. We need to load land 357 in here, and we need to do cost index 99 and flight level 350 because we reset that. Still have our alternate. That's good to go. All right, init B is standing by for boarding complete. We can go ahead and pull the GPU. Correct. We can pull the GPU. So GPU is coming off. Chocks and cones are coming off. Just the forward boarding door open. And let's go to weight and balance. Almost there. 124 of 139 on board. Everything else is ready to go. Fuel and tanks. We are looking good. We are looking good. Have I ever made a trip to Oshkosh? Would you love to be there this week myself? I've never been to Oshkosh, you know? Never been. Never been. After watching your previous video where you were practicing a no-flap, no-slat landing, what would the procedure be if after takeoff the flaps stopped working and stayed at flaps 1? Steve, very similar. And, you know, speaking of, I also got to do a zero-flap, zero-slat landing in the sim. And it was kind of cool because I felt a little bit more prepared for that because we did it in the sim not too long ago. Typically, you don't practice that no flap, no slat for a year. You know, a year will go by and then you do it again. But on this recurrent check, I had to do it, and I had just done it in the sim like a couple weeks ago or a month ago, a couple months ago. So I felt even more prepared. But the same procedure would happen, Steve. So basically, first and foremost, you're going to be heavy. So you're probably going to go burn fuel. You're going to burn some gas, get the weight down. You're going to do all the tests. You're going to see if you can get more flap. You're going to see if you can get more slat, or if they are indeed locked. If you can't get anything else, you can't get them retracted, then you're going to sit around, burn fuel until you feel it's adequate for you to go land. You always want to have a little extra gas too. You don't want to burn fuel all the way down to fumes. That way, if you mess up, you can still go around, right? Because it is a no flap, no slat landing. It is an abnormal procedure. So you want to give yourself some buffer room should something go wrong. And then, of course, you would go ahead and just come in across the numbers, whatever your VREF speed would be. You calculate that depending upon where the flaps or slats have failed. So the more slat or more flap that you can get, the better. The worst case scenario was 0-0. Here's the pronunciation cheat sheet. Ushuaia. Ushuaia. Ushuaia? Ushuaia. All right, Ushuaia. How's that sound? I've been talking to my wife about coming down to South America for our next vacation. I think she's on board too. I think we're going to do it. One more person to go. What do we have? 125.5 and 30.4? Done. 125.5 and 30.6. 125.5 and 30.6 is set. Let's see what our numbers are. Perfect. Excellent pronunciation. Good. Ushuaia. Ushuaia. Or is it Usu? Oh, I can't remember. Ushuaia. I like it. 18.4 hour, 26 minutes extra gas. I don't know why we have this. They gave us this route reserve. I don't want that. 0.0. Come on. Hour 33. Bin destination fuel 4.0. Boom. Let's do that. Let's do a final time of 4.0. Hour 8. That looks good. Alternate gas. We don't have any on board, but we need 3.7. I got 2 kids. Let's round it up 3.9. Now we got 15 minutes extra gas. You can see it. So we don't have a ton of extra gas, but that's going all the way back to our alternate 3.9. All right, fuel numbers are done. Perf is all we have left to do. Dismiss you, ground services. Let's go ahead and close forward door. Connect El Toga. Departure performance. 125.5. Enter. 30.6. Enter. I guess I could just do sync final, but everything else says calculate. Kevin Thomas, what's going on, man? Since how's it going, Cap? Love to hear your thoughts on the Spirit JetBlue merger. I thoroughly enjoyed your Spirit Frontier merger when you did it months ago. Greetings from YVR. Kevin Thomas, absolutely, man. We'll talk all about it. We're going to talk all about it up in cruise today. Welcome aboard. 1329.29 Toga required packs on. You know what? We should have engine anti-ice on. Let me recalculate because we have contaminated surfaces. We got to start getting in the mindset for winter because I know it's only almost August, but got to start thinking about it. 1329.29 packs on Toga. That'll work. So 1329.29, 113, 113, 129. What was the flap? 1 Toga. Flap 1 Toga, engine anti-ice on because we have contaminated runway. Everything else looks good. Let's go ahead and get the beacon light on. Beacon light is coming on. Let's go ahead and get tiller cam on. Everything else looks good. Overhead is good. Let's do before start checklist. Windows, doors, and slides. They are closed and armed. A beacon on. Thrust levers idle. Parking brake is on. Transponder is TARA, just because there's no one else on that sim here, so we'll be good to go. TARA, and we'll go 22.8 as well. Defaults to this other frequency, 22.8 is set. 4-star checklist is complete. Where we at? Balmaceda traffic, land, Chile 357, going to be pushing off the gate here straight back. Balmaceda. Alright, jetway is disconnected. And I really don't want to block this guy in, but... Alright, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. Interesting thing happening here. Let's go ahead and go brakes released. Straight back, start. Diego, what's going on, man? Hello, V1. Glad you can finally fly to Ushuaia. Diego, what's up, man? Thank you for your support, my friend. Yes, indeed. We're on our way there, my friend. We are on our way. We are officially blocked out at 1:20 local Texas time. I don't know what time it is down here. Sorry, man. Didn't mean to block you in. .330 over there. That's good enough, I think, right about there. Let's go ahead and stop the pushback. Stop, 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 stop. Brake set. Let it disconnect. And let's go ahead and start engines. We're going to do a 2-engine taxi. We need a warm-up. We need engine anti-ice. Everything else looks good. APU bleed is on. Let's enjoy some start-up sounds. Were they 113, 129, 129? I'll take a look, Beans. Thanks, bud. Starting engine 1. So quiet. Jeremy says, I told another pilot what you said about not flaring when landing flap 0, and he said, no way, you always flare to a certain extent because you don't want a 3-point landing. Well, you don't flare with a 0-0. You arrest the descent, but coming in with no flaps, no slats, I promise you, you are not you're not gonna 3-point it. I mean, if you do, you're gonna collapse gear. You're gonna come in clean wing. You're gonna be coming in a little bit, probably I'd say, I can't remember what we were about, like 3 degrees nose up. And yeah, you don't flare because you'll float forever. It will just continue flying, but you just arrest the descent, plant that sucker down. All right, we got a good start on engine 1. Let's wait for that avail. But yeah, he might have misunderstood the question, but any 0 flap, 0 slide landing, yeah, you don't flare. You arrest the descent. Starting 2. Let's go ahead, since we can't hear anything, let's go ahead and fix this. 129, 113, 129, 129. Transits now to 10,000 flaps 1. This is probably going to sound weird, but my mind wants to put Mentor Pilot's face to your voice. I bet you look nothing like him. Mentor Pilot, is he the one that does like the reviews of some airplane crashes sometimes? Because I think one of y'all were talking about another real-world YouTube pilot, and he ended up in my YouTube feeds, and I watched a video on the Olympic 747 near crash or almost crash, and I think it was Mentor Pilot that did the video. So yeah, it's kind of weird. You guys were talking about it in chat, and then, you know, Google heard everything, and now it's put it in my YouTube recommendations list. Yeah, he's cool. I like him. He's a good dude. All right, we got that. We got that. We're gonna go flaps to position 1. He's a guy from Sweden. Talks a lot about safety CRM. Yeah, that's him. Yeah, I really like this channel. I think that was one of the first videos I ever watched. But yeah, he was awesome, man. All right, so APU is coming off. Master switch is coming off. Engine anti-ice 1 and 2 are coming on because we have contaminated surfaces. and we're in a +8, so we're at that +10 area, right? And we're colder than +10. We got contamination on the ground. Our trim initially was down 0.5, so we don't set it this way in real life. I'm just going to kind of cheat here. Down 0.5. Oop. Perfect. That is set. Flaps 1, company message. Let's get out of this guy's way. Taxi lights coming on. Brakes released. And we're going to make a sharp left turn out here. Ah, yes, good idea. Compare the EGT behavior between the Tolus and the Fenix in this cold temp environment. Good call, Thomas. We'll take a look at the EGT. Indeed. Alright, so let's go ahead and juice her up here. IB, what's up, man? Welcome. I feel like my computer's been off so long. I wonder if I should have done any like calibrations or anything to the sim. Everything seems fine. Alright, we're going to taxi to 27. Is it clear? Oh, sorry for your news. This is Phoenix. Yep. Not going to de-ice. We don't have any snow or ice on the aircraft. It's just on the ground. So we're good. This airplane flew in. We're good to go. All right, let's see if we can attempt to get a company message without going off the taxiway. Gonna have to do cheat mode and do this. Receive messages. Yeah, that is our final load sheet. We'll accept that. I'll return. That is done. Perf page is up. Now again, we have contaminated runway surfaces, and it's really bright out here. Let's do that, although you're not really supposed to taxi.
Baldwin state of traffic, Viper 1 is type F-16, not A330, taxiing runway 27 via Alpha.
Ah, F-16, that looks like an A330. Gotta love it. Steven says the weather out here almost making me miss the snow. I know, man. I know. But because we have a contaminated surface, we're not going to do any of our checks while moving.
Flight model.
Yeah. F350. Exactly. He does look more like an F350. I really missed my taxi cam, my taxi by cam. Santiago, what's going on? Welcome to the stream, dude. Welcome. Are there any restrictions on tiller nose wheel angles, especially on contaminated surfaces? No, there's no like published, you can't turn past this certain degree or whatever when the surface is contaminated. You just have to be aware of it, right? So like if you're gonna make a 90-degree turn, or worse yet, a reverse high speed, where you're turning more than 90 degrees, if there's contamination, you really gotta slow down. You can really skid out easy in an airplane just because that, you got so much force on that nose wheel when you try to turn it more than 90 degrees. If there's any ice, sometimes even just standing water, you'll feel that like as the nose wheel skidding, you can feel it in your seat even as a passenger. So you do have to be careful of that. When I taxi on snow-covered surfaces or there's ice or anything like that, I am extremely slow. I mean, I probably don't exceed 10 knots most of the time because it's just not worth it. I had a close call one time in an Embraer. I say close call, but just, had to actually put it in full reverse to stop sliding forward and hitting the terminal building. So ever since then, it was a good scare. I'm just like really, really cautious whenever on a contaminated surface, as you should be. As every pilot, as every captain should be taxiing on the ground. You really need to be careful with contaminated surfaces. All right, we'll go ahead and turn the taxi light off. Parking brake is set. Is this guy coming down the runway yet? F350? No, he is coming out to 27, I believe. So let's do a flight control check. Full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, rudder, full left, full right, neutral. Auto brakes max. Got to do my fair share of RTOs in the sim. Auto brakes max, takeoff config check. This is coming on. That would be an auto. We're on TARA 2000. Engine anti-ice is on. We're doing a Toga takeoff. Packs on. Double check we are clear right. We are clear right. Follow the state of traffic. Land Chile 357, going to line up on way 27. Let's go ahead and go wing lights on. Strobe lights on. Get those popped out. Turn these on. This is real weather, real time. Abdu. Real weather, real time. Remember, it is winter time down here at the southern tip of South America. Alright, I'm going to turn down the sound even more. It's going to be loud on the fly with. Just pop the brake and drift. It doesn't work that easy, man. I wish. I can hear the wind blowing out there. Ooh, let's do a lineup like this. This is kind of cool. This is lineup cam. That's kind of neat. Although if I follow that yellow line, I'm going to chew up a lot of excess runway. Lineup cam right on 27. Yeah, I ate up a lot of runway on that. And we're still off center line. Fake pilots in chat. All right, here we go. Taxi lights, or I'm sorry, landing lights to on. All lights are on. Engine anti-ice on. Bala Maceda traffic, land Chile 357 departing. Runway 27. Bala Maceda. All right, we got 238 people watching with only 80 likes. Those are rookie numbers. We need 120 likes. Here we go. Spool them up 50. 120 on the likes or we're going back to the gate. Enjoy the sounds. We're going to sit here and burn gas until we get those likes up, folks. We don't want to go back to the gate, do we? We want to see this takeoff in full yoga, engine anti-ice on, right? Oh, yeah, listen to that spool up. Oh, yeah. Man, we'd be burning a ton of gas right now in real life. This would not be cool. Oh, geez, we crushed it. 139 on the likes. Here we go. Enjoy the takeoff. Yoga. Definitely tell that they're not, with that engine anti-ice on, you know, they are, the demand is higher. They're not ripping like they are when your pack's off. 80 knots stress that, 100 knots check. V1, good God, that came fast. Rotate. Positive rate. Gear up. Navin. Fly with. Watch your ears. Just can't with the audio, man. So loud. So bad. Need volume sliders. All right, we're on the departure. We're man Toga. Let's get a nice positive trend. Look at the performance. Our EGTs are only about 700, which is good. That would make sense for it being, you know, as cold as it is. Thrust, climb, nav. I know you guys can't see the screens because we got that eye adaptation. There we go. That'll brighten it up a little bit. But look at our performance. We're climbing out fantastically here.
Alpha Theta traffic, Viper 1 departing runway 27. Alpha Theta traffic.
Let's watch the, we'll do a we'll do a flap auto retract here.
Bank angle. Bank angle.
Love your videos and live streams. Currently a PPS student and looking forward to be a captain like you one day.
Awesome. Ali, Sammy, thank you so much, man, for your $3 dono. Appreciate you. Bank angle check right back at you, sir. We should get an auto retract here. Keep up the hard work, man, on your PPL. You're going to get there someday, man. Enjoy the ride. Thank you for your dono. There's our auto retract to flaps 0, slats 1, and we can just go ahead and go flaps 0 after takeoff checklist. We'll pull everything in now. Oh, look at these gorgeous views here. All right, we're cleaned up. We got a clean wing. Are we in visible moisture? We kind of are in and out. We'll just leave the engine anti-ice on for now. Look at that. You can really see the this cloud layer there through the visor. That is cool. We'll leave that engine anti-ice on a little bit longer until we get above all this. We got a bank angle check coming up here to the left. Hudson Markle, nope. All of the 320 family does an auto flap retract. What is it, 210 knots, I think? I think realistically like 207 or 206, but 210 knots. Maybe it is 210, I can't remember. I've had so many numbers in my brain. My brain is mush. The flaps will automatically retract, leaving the slats extended. So that happens on only on the takeoff phase, right? If you're on the ground, you're going to get flaps and slats. But in flight, when you go flaps to position 1, what do you get? Only get slats. So just gives you a little bit more buffer room. You know, it's really helpful on the 321s, especially when you're hot and heavy. Really helps then. Sometimes that, you know, that S speed is right up there. It's close. You got VLS up on behind you. You can really get into a coffin, not even a coffin, it's not a coffin corner, but you can really get into a tight window there with your flap retraction and VLS in a 321. 320s, 319s, not so much, but they still do the same auto retract. There's 10,000 feet. We're bank angle checking to the left. We can go ahead and go landing lights off. Taxi light off. That can come off. I keep zooming out because I keep scrolling. Forward call. Let them know we're out of sterile. We've overshot the turn. Oh, barrel ref. Way to go, Phantom. STDs are set for you, me, and the jump seater. 3 are set. We need to come back to the right. That's what happens when you try to fly from the wing view. But I just, look at this. Damn. Chaos, exactly. X-Plane might have the best flight model once you look outside. It's, I mean, just... And this is default, guys. I mean, that's the thing. But having said that, that whole stream in X-Plane 11, you know, X-Plane 12 is definitely going to have a place. It's going to have a place on my PC. It's going to have a place in for my simming. You know, maybe I'll just limit all my flying to orbits. TCAS, I have control. Where? Is there an F-16 like blasting out? Reduce range. We're looking good. He's behind us. Climbing up to 350. We're rejoining.
I'm behind you.
We're rejoining our airway. So we're good. We're still hand flying. On the TOLUS, instead of N1, you have EPR. Why is that? That's because on the TOLUS, we were flying the IAE V2500 engines. So on the CFM engines, the primary power display is N1 speed. Same with the NEO, whether it's a Pratt & Whitney or CFM, they are all N1s. The only Airbus, to my knowledge, in the 320 family that uses EPR is the IAE V2500. So it's just a little bit different display. You get an additional gauge. You know, you don't have an EPR here. With the IAEs, you have EPR's primary. You have an N1 readout on the sides as well. But that's the difference there. And what's really cool about the TOLUS is that, you know, when you toggle the engine variants, you get the actual performance changes and fuel burns accordingly to the engine model you have selected. Yeah, that wing flexing is looking good, is it not? Man, this is a nice little departure to hand fly out here. I think we're about done with the hand flying, right? Pretty much a straight line at that point. At this point, let's go ahead and go autopilot 1. Let's see if we can't give ourselves a shortcut to a NIPLA. I like NIPLA. Let's go direct NIPLA. NIPLA is set. Direct 2 insert. Keep the line nice and straight. We're navving. Enjoying the views. V1IE is still making engines? Yes. Yes, I believe they are. Yeah. Absolutely. Did you do your check ride yet? Nope, it went well. If you did, Evil Cookie, I did indeed. So I did 70% of it. I still have to do one more check. So as I mentioned it, I believe in the Discord, that basically there's 3 stages to the recurrent check that I'm doing. Well, there's an oral portion, then there are 2 sim portions, and I've done the oral and 1 sim, and I still have to do 1 more sim, but they couldn't find an FO. So I'm kind of waiting right now to be assigned another FO, so I can just finish it completely. But the hard parts are, well, I say hard parts, but the parts that you study the most for typically are the ground knowledge, the systems knowledge, and then that first simulator where you're doing a lot of different high workload scenarios, engine failures, V1 cuts, things of that nature, evacuations. the sim portion that I have left to do is basically called an LOE, which is a line-orientated evaluation. I believe that's what it stands for. And in that sim check, it's basically one flight, A to B, 90% normal, right? Nothing goes wrong, except there is some slight abnormals. Whether you might get a TCAS and then like some fault, or you might get like a DU failure or cabin pressurization failure. I've had that in the past. It may cause you to divert. It all depends on the scenario, and you don't know what scenario you're getting. So it makes it a little bit more like, okay, you need to study, just got to be refreshed up on all your procedures, which you should be always, and that's the whole point of recurrent training, is to keep refreshed. And what's good about the type of training, recurrent training that we do, is they take a lot of current scenarios that have happened, and then they can inject those into the sim. And every year, every check that you go to is different, and it's based on real world data, what's happening. So I remember years ago we had a problem with a fuel leak happening. We had like, I think 3 fuel leaks over the course of, 2 months or something like that. Airplanes actually diverted. And that recurrent session, we had a fuel leak scenario. So it's just kind of cool how they take the real world data, then they inject it into that last sim portion, that LOE, and watch you and evaluate you. And it's an event that can be failed, but basically as long as you have the safe operation of the aircraft is never in doubt, I believe that's how it's worded, and all company SOPs are adhered to, you're not gonna fail, I guess, as long as you do that. So it's supposed to be less stress, but more focused on real-world training operations, bringing training and real-world ops together on the LOE, as opposed to what I did on my first sim, which is engine failure, V1 cut, aborts, evacuations, zero slat landings, and then doing some more additional like crazy stuff. So what else did we do? We did, so we did a pretty cool RNAV visual, which I've never flown in real life. And we did it in the sim. Wow, look at this gorgeous view right here. But I believe it's a stadium visual into Newark. That was thrown in there. I got to see that for the first time. I've never flown the stadium visual into Newark before. And I do fly into Newark, so it's kind of cool to see that. There was a couple other things. We did Cat 3 stuff, do Cat 3 autolands, single engine go around. So that first sim is where you come out of the box and you're like, man, I need a beer. My brain is just mentally mush right now. And then the final sim, the LOE, is a little bit more normal. Dimitri, what is going on, my friend? Welcome. He says, greetings from Toasty, Vancouver. Oh, come on now. It's not toasty up there, Dimitri. Sorry I am late to the party. No apologies needed, Dimitri. Good to see you, man. Hope the family is well. Welcome aboard. Ooh, we're getting a little bit of turbulence coming out over these mountains today. A little bit of turbulence. Always a pleasure to see you, Dimitri. Again, hope everybody's well. Welcome on board, my friend. Welcome on board. Look at that lake down there. What lake is that? I want to go fishing there. Does your company include briefing on CRM factors affecting crew performance? Yes, absolutely. So, and I should say that, oh, look, there's that F350 up there in formation. So, and I said there's only 3 portions. There's actually 4 portions. So before the oral evaluation where you do 1-on-1 or 2-on-1 with an examiner and you're talking about systems, you actually have a ground school where you have a class. And during that class, recurrent, Dimitri, yes indeed, we talk all things CRM. You talk about human factors. You talk about current trends in the safety department, like safety will come in, the head of the safety department will come in, they'll share all the data with you. So I talk about, I've mentioned it before, like FOPWA data. Basically the airplane can tattle on you if you do something out of SOP, whether it's you're not stable at 1,000 feet or you landed past the touchdown zone. All that stuff that gets recorded gets sent to the safety team. They track all that data, then they come in during your recurrent ground class and they show you all of that data. Say, hey, this is where we're trending. We need to stop this, or we need to continue improving in this area. That way, it's always, your safety envelope is always growing, and you're always trying to get more and more safe as an operation. So yeah, absolutely, we do that. We also talk about. Flight attendants. We also do, like, the flight attendants will join, whether it's virtually or if they're in the same building, depending on where your recurrent is. You'll all get together and then you'll work through a scenario. So, for instance, we have a disruptive passenger, lead flight attendant what are you going to do? And we get to hear what the lead flight attendant's process is, their thought process, what they do, and then then we talk to the captain, and then the captain says, okay, and then they pick a captain in the class. Okay, so now what are you going to do? So everybody can kind of see these scenarios play out in a classroom environment. That way, if you have questions, like another example was an ill passenger, somebody who becomes really sick during a flight. What does the flight attendant do during that? So obviously they have a bunch of forms that they fill out. Ooh, we never turned off our engine anti-ice. We can go ahead and save some performance. We'll go ahead and kill that. Let's see if we have a drop. There we go. Look at that. Our N1s are coming up. Cool. Cool. See that relation there between that extra bleed pressure and engine anti-ice. But yeah, if you have an ill passenger, the flight attendants have a thing to do. They have a form to fill out, so I got to see what they have to do. Then they send it obviously to the captain, and the captain does his thing, and then they get to hear what we do up front. And the whole process of getting a hold of MedLink, or the MedLink station for all airlines, basically is a doctor on the ground that we can connect to via the VHF. And so they get to see that process work out, and it's really good. It really is a good environment so that everybody can stay in the same loop. Trying not to blow up your TCAS. No worries, text trading. No worries, man. You're not. We're looking good. That view is absolutely juicy out there as well. Currently 79 degrees here in northern Canada. High yesterday was 75 and cloudy. Back to the 90s tomorrow. Ready for fall. Oof. I cannot wait for fall. I cannot wait for fall. All right, we're looking good here. 26.3. We're climbing out cost index 99, which is always fun. Let's do systems check here. I don't know why it keeps going back to the thing. Ali Sammy, thank you for the $3 dono. Appreciate you, man. Bank angle check right back at you. Glad you're enjoying the content. Welcome aboard. Hydraulic is looking good. 621. Ooh, we're a little bit low. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to, as I said, manually, we'll move some fuel up in cruise just to show. We'll go through that procedure in cruise. I've done it before, but I want to see it in the Phoenix here. Everything looks good. Flight controls look good. We're at a 28, climbing 350. And let's go ahead and go into flying above the snow in cloudy conditions mode. This is literally what everybody does, and most of the time you do it anyway, even when it's not snow, but especially in the snow. When you're flying above snow-covered terrain like this, it's so bright off the ground. The reflection at the cockpit is just blinding. So you have your sunglasses on, you have all the window shades up, might have a jump seater just chilling back here, but indeed, that's what it looks like. All right, we're still getting a little bit of chop here. I'm going to go ahead and slow our climb speed down. Let's go do a 7-8 climb out. Let's see if we can get above it. We'll get up to our cruise altitude a little bit faster. Maybe we get above some of this chop here. I guess we don't need the cams anymore, right? Oh, we don't need that either. Little escort, awesome, man. Dimitri says, is this loft training will only include line qualified crews or other employees? It is all line qualified crews, Dimitri. So basically flight attendants, pilots, all that good stuff. Now they're, like I said, sometimes like the head of the safety department will come in, or maybe some players and management will come in, just talk about the state of the airline, what's going on. But typically that's saved more for like an initial hire class. Recurrent classes are more so just crew on crew environments. Jeremy says, I'm really nervous for the JetBlue Spirit merger because I do not want to see a repeat of the AAL-TWA Seniority disaster. Whew, are we going to get into this now? Jeremy, I'm right there with you, man. We're going to talk about it. I'll tell you what. We're going to talk about Spirit, JetBlue, Frontier as soon as we hit our top of climb, because I want to make sure that we don't have any interruptions. It's you bring up very valid concerns, Jeremy. You really do. So we'll talk all about it. I've got some insider information. Obviously, I have friends in the industry. Plus, how is it going to affect me personally? Does it affect me? What do I think about it? It's big news. There hasn't been a merger acquisition in quite some time. I think the last one was Virgin and Alaska? Was that the last merger acquisition that happened in the airlines? It's been a while. So it is definitely news, and it's going to be interesting. Can you have a 320 and 380 type rating at the same time and fly both? Ali Sammy, thank you for your dono earlier. And you can have the same type. You can have as many type ratings as you want, but you will most likely not be allowed to be current on both aircraft at the same time. That will depend, though, upon the airline that you work for and the governing agency. Now, here in the U.S., the FAA does not allow line pilots to be current on multiple fleet types at the same time. So you may have, you know, several different type ratings for your fleet, but you're only allowed to be current and fly one at a time. And just because there is so many, I mean, there's so many little limitations and stuff, there's just, that opens the door for a lot of cross-referencing or mismatching of information in a high-stress scenario, and that's just why we don't do it. Now, sim instructors, I believe it's a little bit different if you have an outside sim instructor, but most of the time, as far as I am aware, I don't know of any line pilot that can be current on both airframes and fly both. In the U.S., that is. I can't speak to other nations, but I'm fairly sure that's common. Instructors, different ballgame, but line pilots, no. I was just finishing up my initial flight attendant training at my airline. Our CEO just walked in and announced on the last day. Walked in, announced on the last day. It was so much fun. We had a good time. Awesome, Kevin Thomas. Good deal, man. You know, I always think highly of that. You know, when management, or especially a high-level management position, can make themselves known to the line crews, it does a lot for morale, I think. One of the last examples I have, now it hasn't happened for me personally in quite some time, but the last example that I have was I was actually giving the CEO of the company a ride, and I had just upgraded to captain, and CEO came down to the cockpit, and of course I knew his face. I'd never met him, never had any conversation in the past, and you know this is the CEO of the airline, right? He can do whatever he wants pretty much. So you always want to be in your best behavior. He comes up to the front, knocks on the cockpit door. It's open, and we're at the gate. He knocks on it. He says, "Excuse me, gentlemen, may I enter the cockpit?" We're like, very much, you know, even though he's the CEO, he is still respecting the boundaries within. You know, I mean, he could have walked right up to the front of the cockpit and said, "Hey, Captain, what's going on?" You know, without I'm not going to bat an eye at that, but the fact that he had the wherewithal to still be respectful of what's happening at a ground level. We had a very nice conversation, and he said, well, you know, I told him I had just upgraded to captain, and he's like, well, that's very exciting. You know, I have full confidence in you and your abilities, know how we train and all this stuff, and talked a little bit about the future of the airline, and yeah, it was cool. I mean, it does make a difference, you know. My opinion of him that day changed as it was before, and it changed for the better. All right, we're leveling off at 350. It's still a little bit choppy, but we're going to roll with it. Let's go ahead and manage to speed up. Let's take a look at this wing here. We're still bouncing around. I think it's safe. We've got a little bit of light chop. These people down here in South America are probably very familiar with a bumpy flight, so we'll go ahead and let them roam anyway. If it gets any worse than that, we'll turn the seatbelt sight back on. Let's do a quick flight plan check. We're 527 miles out, estimating the Zulu time of 2005. Time now is just about 19Z, so we got about an hour and 10 minutes or so in cruise. That's beautiful. Everything looks good. Ooh, a little bit choppy there. Now the question is, do we go outside view or inside view for a little? We can do a little bit of inside view. We'll get some tunes on here, and then we're really gonna open the can of worms with mergers and acquisitions. Yeah, Vodka says 2016 it was. Damn. So on a typical workday, you'd only fly one type. Correct. Now remember, the Airbus, the 320 family, is all one type. So in one day, it's not uncommon for me to fly a 319, a 320, a 321, 321 Neo. That sounds like a hell of a day. It's 4 legs. You know, that's regional flying. Anything more than 2 legs, I start to get upset about. But that's just because I'm a spoiled American pilot. But yes, it is very possible to fly 4 variants of the Airbus in one day. But because that is because it is a single fleet type. All right. Has the rudder issue been fixed when landing? We're going to find out, because I heard there's a nice little crosswind down there. I don't know. I don't believe so, but we're going to find out here very soon. So let's see what kind of tunes we got today. Okay, well, that seems all right. So we'll turn down this. We'll turn down LSIM. Let's go outside. It's going to be hopefully not too loud. Cool. All right. Look at that. Beautiful. We got a little escort out there today. Xavier, says, what's up, man? Says, afternoon V1, nice to be able to finally see you live. Yeah, it's been, man, I love, like I said earlier, it's nice to be back live after 10 days or so. It gets too long. I need to be back with my people. I need to hang out with y'all. Welcome to the stream, man. Welcome aboard. Welcome. Pilot Max flies 737 and 787. He's working for a European company. Europe is a little bit more lax. Interesting. So, jump and run, and I don't know, maybe there's something to do with Boeing. Maybe Boeing has some like cross types that you could do, whether it's, you know, Max or 78. I'm not sure, but it could be. I'm just gonna turn the outside sound off because it's too loud. Aviation Mike, what's going on, man? Welcome. Oh man, I forget how I said it. Ushuaia is a hidden aviation gem. Every approach there is interesting to say the least. Not only procedurally, but a ton of gusting winds at all times. Dimitri, yeah, I heard it's gusting to 30. At least it was earlier. And we are going to do the VOR approach just for fun, as long as we can see the airport. We're going to fly over the VOR. We'll do the turn, and I think it's a VOR ILS. So we'll basically shoot outbound, turn inbound. Should be a good time. We got plenty of time to brief that as we get on here, though. Team Vodka says no update from Phoenix since July 7th. They've been pretty quiet. I wonder if they're working on some IAE engines. That would be nice, huh? Catching live while on the road. Glad to see you. Digital Mark, what's up, man? Welcome, dude. Hope you're enjoying your travels wherever you may be at. Cody says, besides your home airport, do you enjoy Bravo airports, C, or D's? What makes a pilot-friendly airport? Well, that would depend on what type of flying you're doing. You know, from an airline standpoint, we're pretty much always in Bravos and Charlies. We fly into some Deltas, but what makes an airport pilot friendly? Having stuff open past like 7 o'clock in the evening makes an airport pilot friendly, because nothing like showing up at the airport, everything's closed, or having coffee available past 3 o'clock in the afternoon makes it pilot friendly, and also having a good facility for you know, doing some business, taking the Browns to the Super Bowl or something like that. You know, you always want to have good facilities in the airport, because 12, 13, 14 hours in a day flying, a lot of stuff can happen. I mean, you could not be feeling good, you could be feeling tired, or to have an airport that has services open makes it friendly. Now, what the quality of those services are or not, you know, it is what it is, but I can't wait for the IE Sharklet update on the Phoenix. Miss flying an Airbus with fighter jet engines. I know, Kevin Thomas. It's going to look so good when we get IEs and Sharklets. It's going to be really good. Blue Mac, big update coming for the Phoenix. Oh, I know it. They've been doing some sound previews in their Discord, and it's juicy. Awesome, Blue Mac. Awesome, man. Cannot wait. Cannot wait. I think you can switch between 320 and 330 with some airlines not in the U.S. Yeah. Again, that, you know, I could see it happening, but here in the U.S., as far as the FAA is concerned, it's a no-go, at least that I know of. Would IBS disqualify someone from getting a first-class medical? Maze Shook, I don't believe so. There is as long as it's treatable, you know, you can take some medication. There is a regulation, I can't remember what it is. Basically, it says in the FARs that, you know, you can leave your duty station at any time for bodily functions. You know, like, even if you're in below 10,000 feet, you obviously don't want to. You want to wait if you can, but that is in the regulations. Is human bodily functions, I believe, is how they write it. So I don't think that would be a disqualifying case at all, as long as it's treatable. It happens, man. You know, sometimes when you gotta go, you know. Jungly Sim, what's going on, man? Always a pleasure. Welcome, dude. I miss you too, dude. We gotta get back on the Discord here pretty soon. Call me old school, but I love some Sierra displays in the Phoenix. Yes, I'd like to. Oh, look at this turn. That is some serious juice right there. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Have you ever had fellow pilot recognize you from YouTube in the cockpit? I don't believe so, man. I don't believe so. Do you have to be a U.S. citizen to fly for a U.S. carrier? Have you ever flown with someone from another country? Jeremy, that's an interesting point. All right, we're going to have to get into this. So, Until recently, yes, you had to be a U.S. citizen to fly for a U.S. carrier. Now, there is, in recent months, there's a lot of talk and chit-chat about E2B or E3B visas, basically Australian pilots, allowing them to work in the U.S. Now, this is something that is receiving a lot of flack from all the airlines and the unions here in the States because they believe it circumvents the need for the company to maintain like a good work environment. Basically, they're circumventing paying their pilots and employees by going to other countries to recruit pilots that will work for less, which then in turn undercuts the pilots that are in the U.S. So it is a topic of high contention, but there are actually pilots now in the U.S. flying under these visa programs, and I believe it's only going to get more prevalent as time goes on. Speaking of, Frontier Airlines, the whole merger Frontier thing, the CEO Barry Biffle was saying the other day on TV that they have enough pilots and they're going to use a training program from Australia to have cadets flow into the airline and work for less pay and circumvent the U.S. guys. Now, why it may seem all fine and dandy from a news release or CNN or Yahoo Finance, whoever is spinning it to you, I can tell you from a pilot standpoint, which almost every airline in the U.S. is the pilots are unionized. This is met with a lot of flack. This is not a good thing. This is something that we do not want. We believe that the whole visa program was designed for other industries, not to circumvent the lack of the company providing a good work environment for U.S. pilot standards. For other countries' pilot standards, they're like, oh, this is way better than what we had over here. Let's go do it. I can understand where they're coming from, but if you're on the other side of the fence, there's been a lot of generations before me and before us and before future generations of U.S. pilots that have laid the groundwork for there to be standards in U.S. aviation. And when companies decide to do this, they are circumventing those standards. So it's not good. It really, I don't believe it's a good thing. I don't know. I'm not going to say it's a safety thing. I can't really speak to that. That depends on where they come from, how they've been trained, and all that. But it's opening the door for problems, Jeremy. It's definitely opening the door for problems, and I think we're only going to see more of it. Sam said, "What's good to see you, man?" He says, "Gotta love them taking any steps to fix a shortage besides better pay and work rules." You're absolutely right. So if you don't know let me put this in a kind of a more simplistic way, the best I can, because I don't think this ever gets talked about, and you don't know about pilot personal financial life unless you are one. The news doesn't cover it, the social media doesn't cover it. They just tell you what the CEOs want you to hear, right? So basically what happens is you get hired on by an airline, you have a 1-year probationary period, which is let me change this on. Hold on. Let me go ahead and change this real quick. You have a 1-year probationary period where you're not really protected by the union, but after that 1 year, you're officially a union member. And what that means is you pay a certain amount of your paycheck every month to the union. They take those funds, they organize things. Basically, in a nutshell, they create a contract for you to work under, and it's voted upon by all your other peers in that airline that are part of that union. Each contract cycle, typically between 4 to 7 years, needs to be renegotiated. So what gets renegotiated every 4 to 7 years is the pay to deal with inflation, deal with economic reasons, just depending on what's going on at that time. So obviously pay gets recalculated, gets renegotiated. Work rules get renegotiated. So let me give you an example. So let's say that pilots don't have any flexibility with their schedule. They want to be able to drop trips. So then the union representation. We'll put that in the next contract, is we want the ability to drop trips, bring it to the company. The company will then negotiate, okay, if you want to drop trips, then we're going to adjust how many pilots per airplane we want to staff, blah, blah, blah. And they work out a deal, and that's all. They put it all out on the table, then the pilot union gets to vote on it. Now, I'm making it sound like it's very, hunky-dory and it goes by nice and smooth. It doesn't. These are long, dragged out, fought out negotiations that sometimes result in pilot striking. Now, under the U.S., I don't think there will ever be another pilot strike in the U.S. because we are operating under the RLA, or Railway Labor Act, which basically says we're too important for the day-to-day economics of the country, so you cannot strike. It's unlawful. The only way you can strike is if a federal judge releases you to strike. The only way you get released to strike is if they say, okay, well, we've been negotiating for 2 years now, and the company has not done anything for us, and they're not budging on anything. Then you go to a cool down period, and then maybe the judge will say, okay, the company is not behaving, you can go ahead and strike. That rarely, I don't think it will ever happen again. It rarely happened in the past because typically the federal judge is already bought and paid for in political bureaucracy, and they always are going to side with the company. So, and when I say company, I mean management or non-pilots, non-union workers. So you have labor and you have management, right? Labor being the union and the pilots. Typically, all the government people are going to side with management company because that's who they pay their bills. You scratch my back, I scratch your back, right? So right now, you're seeing all the major airlines are, not all of them, I think almost all of them are in that cycle where it just worked out, where everybody's renegotiating. So United is negotiating a new contract. American is negotiating a new contract. JetBlue is negotiating a contract. Spirit is now open for negotiations in August, I believe. They open up negotiations. Frontier has a contract. They're not in negotiations. They just signed one a few years ago, but their contract is pretty subpar. So basically what happens is every time a contract is signed, typically it's the next best thing, right? Until the next airline goes in, because they look at that contract that was just signed, they say, ooh, I want something better than that, boom. And then the other next company that comes in, they want something better than that one. So it's a continual stepping stone up. You always want to make gains in your negotiations. What Frontier is doing with the pilot thing, this is a long-winded discussion, but they're basically saying, even though our pilots are going to make less than any other pilots flying the same equipment in the U.S., and that nobody really is going to want to work here from the U.S. because every other airline literally has a better opportunity for you, what we're going to do to fix the problem, instead of coming back to the negotiating table, is we're just going to hire pilots from out of the country to come work for us. And that is where you get the problems, right? So I know this sounds like a lot of, it could be, it sounds pretty confusing, and it is confusing, but there's a lot of the politics and bureaucracy going on behind the scenes, and that's kind of what's going on with this visa program. Now, I was just reading some of the comments. Yeah, gotta love the U.S. strike laws. Yeah, it's very difficult to strike in the U.S. In Germany, pilot unions strike regularly. Yeah, and I've heard that. That is the one thing that the European pilots have going for them, is they have that ability to stand unified and show management, hey, we do the work for you, you know? Unfortunately, it's not that way in the U.S. Sam says, I personally think much of the shortage we're seeing now is the result of years of undesirable pay, quality of life, and career progression in the years following 9/11 and the 2008 economy crash. I know multiple pilots who left the industry during the times or didn't pursue it at all. Sam, you're absolutely right. So we commonly refer to that as the lost decade. So you had 9/11, then you had the 2008 crash. Basically, all those economic recessions pushed back gains contractually for pilots for over a decade. So that decade of pilots, we call it the lost decade, they suffered a very long time with little growth, little quality of life, and subpar pay for what they were being paid to do. And we're kind of seeing that now with, post-COVID. Look, when COVID hit, nobody wanted to go outside. Everybody was freaked out. Nobody knew what the hell was going on. Who still had to go to work? I did. my brothers and sisters flying the line, they still had to go to work. We still had to fly airplanes. We still had to go be in public spaces, even though they said, don't do this, don't do that. We still had to show up. We still had to go to work. We basically picked up the operation by ourselves and did our jobs because that's what we were supposed to do. That's what we're trained to do. That's what we're supposed to do. Now that we're post-COVID, nobody wants to recognize that. It's like, oh, okay, well, we have, we're just gonna, we have, even though we're back to pre-COVID revenues and all that stuff, we're not going to improve your quality of life, even though you helped us out, did all this for us. We're just going to go out of country and we're going to hire a way. We're going to find a way around this whole hiring thing, and that's what's really infuriating for us as pilots, and not even just hiring, but for contract gains. So the airline I work for, obviously going into negotiations, it's like, they don't want to negotiate with you, even though you just basically helped them keep their pocketbooks full and kept their operation afloat. They don't even want to give you a bone to say that, for whatever. So that's what makes it frustrating. I just avoid Germany in summer, planes, trains. It's so sad with their summer strikes. Yeah, I've heard that it's fairly common there, especially in summertime. Now, the last strike that did happen was the Spirit Airlines in 2009, 2008. And it lasted, less than 2 days. And even with all the pilots on strike, the former CAO still tried to contract to charter an operation. And if anybody who flies an airplane while that group is on strike, they're called someone who has basically crossed the fence, and they become what's called a scab. And you never want to be a scab because you're never going to jump seat, you're never going to be hired, or you're never going to be like part of another union again. It's a very bad thing. Ironically, that CEO that was still trying to get people to fly even when their pilots were on strike is the CEO of, or is the major shareholder, Frankie over at Frontier Airlines right now. So to see all this come, just come around full circle, it's very interesting. Jay says it's a business at the end of the day, though, mate. Jay, and you know what? That's you're not wrong, man. I mean, at the end of the day, business is business, right? So they're gonna fight. That's their job to fight, and it's our job to fight, right? So that's just how the world turns. It is what it is. My flight attendant job is the first job I've had where I've been backed by a labor union in Canada. We operate only within the CBA. Yep, super grateful for that. Exactly, Kevin. So almost all airlines here in the U.S. are the same way. We all operate under a CBA, or a collective bargaining agreement. I thought Spirit had some good pilot contracts compared to some other airlines. Indeed, Jeremy. So Spirit Airlines has arguably the best quality of life contract among all the airlines out there. And I've looked at them all. I've looked at all different contracts that I have friends that I talk to, I'm trying to think, virtually at every single major U.S. carrier. So we all talk, we all find out who does what, and I'm telling you that the Spirit contract, as far as quality of life, is definitely one of the best, Jeremy. Now, you bring that up, what's going to happen with Spirit pilots and JetBlue when they merge? It's going to be interesting because the JetBlue pilots have a very different contract. They have better pay per hour, but they also lack a lot of the benefits that come with quality of life, ability to drop trips. You can drop your whole month of flying at Spirit. You can literally say, I don't want to fly this month, drop the entire month of flying, and you still get your benefits and all that. But you're getting paid less than an hour. I think the top pay, if you just look at the top pay scales, I think it's a difference of like $30 to $40 an hour. So it is a significant difference. Now, when they merge together, what has to happen is both unions, both pilot unions, both JetBlue and both Spirit, are going to come together.
Everyone's going to transition to the right side of your aircraft, moving behind you.
Gotcha. So basically, the pilot union at JetBlue and the pilot union at Spirit are going to come together. They're going to come to hopefully a JCBA, which is a joint collective bargaining agreement. And they're going to, in an ideal world or in a perfect world, you take the best of both contracts, right? I want these work rules and I want this pay, and then you present it to the company. And the company is going to come back and say, well, we're not going to give you all that. We're just going to give you this. We're going to give you that. And then they go back and forth for a long time. And then eventually, when the union agrees to JCBA, which is not called a JCBA at that point, it's called a TA, or a tentative agreement. That document, which is now going to be all of the new work rules and all of the new pay scales for the Spirit Airlines and JetBlue pilots, it's going to go to a vote. And basically, everybody gets to vote on it. If you're a union member in good standing, meaning you pay dues, and you've you are part of the union, which 99.99% of pilots are a part of the union, unless you choose not to be, which I don't know why you wouldn't. You get to vote, and then if it passes, then that is your new CBA. What makes such a good contract? More time home, Patrick Trooper. It all depends, right? It's a personal. That's why there is no perfect. I could sit here and say, hey, my airline's contract is perfect, but it's perfect for me. It may be totally different for somebody else. Somebody else may be like, hey, I'm single, I'm 24 years old, I really don't care about being home, I just want to make as much money as I can right now. They might be different. They might be like, hey, I just want to go make, the top dollar. I don't care if I'm forced to work 110 hours a month and I can't drop anything, have any flexibility. So, that's why it goes out to vote and the majority wins. So somebody is always going to be unhappy at some point. Dimitri says, classic dick move by your company. It's not only airlines. Every publicly traded company only cares about profits and shareholders. Yep, you and I are nothing to them. Dimitri, you're absolutely right. We are nothing more than just pawns on a chessboard, my friend. I miss my service years more and more each day. At least we always knew where everyone stands. Yeah, Dimitri, I hear you, man. It's you're exactly right. We are just pawns on a chessboard. And it's all about shareholders and their own profits. Exactly. There is no one-size-fits-all solution. You're absolutely right, Chaos. You're absolutely right. How are they going to avoid the seniority disaster that occurred with American and TWA? So, good point. Let's talk about it now. We see that F-16, F-30, A350. Oh, good. We're still about halfway out. We got a company message, but we'll show. Oh, my gosh. Look at that shot. Screenshot. Left Windows, print screen. That looks real. So, Jeremy is referencing a seniority disaster. This is a big one. We're going to talk about this because this is huge. And I'm going to get a sip of water.
I got some good ones.
All right. So where is that Boston guy? There's a member who is here, Fly by Wire, FTW or whatever. I wonder if you ever tune in, man, he'll get fired up talking about union stuff, especially everybody in Boston, like port workers, all union workers up there. They get rallied up, man. I should bring him on to talk about unions and labor and all that stuff. All right, so seniority. What is seniority? When you get hired at an airline, you get that hire date, that day that you get hired, you get issued a number. That is your seniority number for the company. That number is going to move up throughout the rest of your career. So whether somebody retires off the top, or they leave to another airline, or they retire, doesn't matter. You're going to continue to move up. As people get hired the day after you get people below you, right? So you're gaining seniority. You might start out at 3,000 and you're 3,000. A year later, you might be 2,300 of 3,300. That would be a nice jump, but you see how it goes. Now, everything you do at an airline, in the U.S., I'm only speaking of the U.S., is based on that seniority number. So if you want to pick up a specific trip, let's say, oh, this is a really nice trip. It has a perfect overnight. It only has 3 legs total, long overnight in Long Beach, California. I want that one. There's going to be other pilots that want that trip too. The trip is going to go to the pilot that is the most senior. So you can see where I'm going with this. The more seniority you have, the better your quality of life is going to be. You're going to get better trips. Every year that you go up, you also get better pay, right? The pay scales at airlines in the U.S. are annually based, and they have a gradual increase or a gradual rise. And then, of course, when you get into the captain seat, it goes up pretty significantly, and then it continues to go all the way up until you reach the top of the pay scale. So you're getting more money. You're getting better trips. Same thing goes for taking days off. If you want to drop a trip, someone else wants to drop a trip on that same day. If you're the senior pilot, you'll get that trip dropped. Same thing goes for bidding around holidays. Everybody and their mother wants Christmas off, right? Well, only so many pilots can have Christmas off. guess what? It's only the ones with the seniority able to hold Christmas off are going to get Christmas off. So seniority, for all intents and purposes, is everything at an airline in the US. So what happens when you buy another airline, or you get bought by another airline, or you merge? Because you have seniorities completely different. You could have a startup airline. Let's take, I'm just gonna make up a scenario. Let's take Breeze Airlines. They're operating those E190s, right? And they got some 220s, brand new airline. They've only been around, what, less than a year, maybe a year. Whoever is number one at that company, hey, good on them. They are number one at that company now. Then they're gonna get a couple more hundred pilots, whatever. Let's say they get bought by, I'm just making this up, Allegiant Airlines. Allegiant Airlines has been around a lot longer, right? So the number one pilot at Allegiant, or the number, 500 pilot at Allegiant is going to be more senior in terms of how many years he's worked for Allegiant than the number one pilot at Breeze, because Breeze has only been around a year or so, a year or two, maybe, whatever it is. But the problem is, the guy at Breeze, why should he be punished for being number one at his airline, even just because his airline is new? So you can see where there's a problem here. And you can't just go like, all right, well, we've been around longer than you. We're more important than you are technically. So we're going to put you below you. That has a lot of cause for a tumultuous relationship between pilot groups. Real world example now, American Airlines and TWA. American Airlines bought Transworld Airlines, bought TWA. They said, you know what? I don't care that you've been at TWA for 20 years and you're a senior 747 captain and you're having the best life of your ever. I don't care. I'm an American Airlines pilot. I am better than you. So we are going to put you at the bottom. We're going to staple you to the bottom of the seniority list. That means the most senior captain at Transworld Airlines was now junior to somebody who got hired at American a week ago. Guy could have been, I don't know anyone, well, I do know some, but I'm not, this isn't a personal example, but I mean, if you've been there for 20 years at TWA, you're senior, you're captain, getting the trips, now you are junior to the most junior FO at American. People literally committed suicide over this, because it literally will turn your life upside down. It will turn your life upside down for the worse, and it's not good. This method is called stapling. All right. After this happened, and it was, I mean, you can imagine the anger that happened with those TWA guys. That caused problems for years. There's still problems. There's still tension. You talk to a TWA guy versus American guy now. I mean, there's definite tension. Although, I mean, they're few and fewer of those guys are around now. But after that happened, basically, unions got together and said, okay, we got to find a way to prevent this from happening in the future. And that depends on the union, the actual union, what union company, quote unquote, you have. So ALPA, or Airline Pilots Association, is a union. Southwest has a union. They have a Southwest Airlines Pilot Association. They are a different union. But ALPA has multiple airlines under one union. So Spirit is ALPA, JetBlue is ALPA, Virgin was ALPA, Alaska Airways was ALPA. So the majority of big airlines are under the ALPA umbrella of unions. And ALPA came out and said, okay, to avoid the disaster that was American and TWA, when seniority lists must be merged, we're no longer going to allow you to be stapled. We are also not going to allow you to go straight date of hire. What does that mean? Well, it's kind of what it sounds like. If you merge a list based on date of hire, it could really help some people and it could really screw some people. Example, let's say I was hired. Let's take the Frontier Spirit merger. Let's put it together. Let's say I was a JetBlue pilot and I was hired in 2015. The way JetBlue has been progressing from the pilot standpoint has been pretty stagnant. A 2015 hire at JetBlue is probably around 77% overall in his company, maybe a little bit more. I think maybe like 70% overall. A 2015 hire at Spirit Airlines, because of the growth that Spirit has been having, is around the 40% mark overall. Probably a captain, probably holds a line maybe. So you could see that even though both pilots, me and this other pilot at Spirit, got hired the same year at different companies, we have a much different respective seniority. Spirit pilot is more senior at his airline. He's a captain. I am still a mid-seniority at first officer at JetBlue. So if you use a straight date of hire, it's going to help depending upon who got hired first. So let's say I was hired a day before the Spirit pilot. So now I am going to be senior than a Spirit pilot who's been a captain now for the last couple of years, and I was an FO my whole time at JetBlue. So you can see where that would cause a problem, because now you got a junior FO that's going to be in front of a senior captain at Spirit, even though the date of hire is relatively close. Not the best way to go straight date of hire. So you're like, okay, so what do we do now? So ALPA basically said, we're going to take into account your relative seniority, which means where you are in your company. We're going to take into account your seniority. We're also going to take into account your career expectations. You know, a guy at Spirit can say, hey, I don't have any expectations of flying a smaller aircraft or a B-scale airplane like the E190 or the C220 or the A220 at JetBlue. So you could argue that I don't want to be on that airplane ever again. JetBlue could argue, well, we have an order for wide-body aircraft. Spirit pilots have never anticipated being on wide-body. I don't want them ever flying wide-body aircraft. So these are all factors that are going to get mixed up into a blender, spit out, and basically every single pilot is going to be pissed the hell off because it's not what they want. And that's basically what's going to happen. So some will say date of hire is the only fair way to go. Gosh, it's at face value, you would be correct. But why would, somebody who's been a captain, and like for me personally, I've been a captain for a while now. Like I feel like I've garnered much more experience from the left seat just because it's a new experience for you. You gain that additional experience, whereas an FO, you have all that experience as an FO until you go to the left seat and you learn something new. So why would my experience, just because somebody got hired or just because I was hired a day after someone, why should I be shot back, 20 years in seniority? I know I don't get 20 years of my life back, right? So that's where the argument for date of hire comes in. At face value, it looks good, but you can argue it both ways. And I just got to say, I'm glad I'm not someone that has to sit there and argue this out with a mediator or anything like that, because like I said, it's just at the end of the day, everyone is going to be unhappy. That's when you have a good seniority list mixed. So I feel like I've been just ranting. Let me get to some of the chats here. I bet it's especially tricky because JetBlue isn't that old of an airline compared to Spirit, or does that would be true. JetBlue is relatively new, 2000, 2001, I think, right? That's pretty much the beginning of JetBlue. So you could say, what happened to all the Spirit pilots that are still on the seniority list from the 90s, Do they automatically get to go in front of the number one guy at JetBlue just because their airline was around longer? I don't know. It depends. You got to weigh these things, right? You got to weigh these things out. Do the U.S. and Cactus and keep the pilots separate? Definitely a mess, Sam. Definitely a mess. Best version I could imagine, applying seniority proportionally so a number one would still be at the front but would make them put people behind with more years of service. Chaos, and that's kind of what I'm talking. That's kind of what happens. So the ALPA merger, which is what's going to happen with Spirit and JetBlue, they are going to take into account relative seniority, date of hire, career expectations, and there's one more. I can't think of it. There's one more factor. Shoot, I'm drawing a blank now. But all those factors will be weighed in. It's not going to be good. There's going to be a lot of pissed off people. I would tell you right now, the seniority lists at Spirit are vastly different. And that example I used of the 2015 hire, that's real. Like I know people been hired the same month at Spirit and JetBlue. The Spirit guy is a captain, about 40% overall in the company, living a good life. The JetBlue guy is an FO, about 77%, about to get displaced out of Orlando because they closed the 190 base for JetBlue, and those senior guys are going to push him out of Orlando. He's going to be commuting to Boston. So it's going to, and that's the same seniority length, right? Same date of hire. So it's just going to be, it's going to be nasty. It's going to be pretty nasty, I think. It's not going to be like stapling, obviously, but I think there's going to be a lot of pissed off people. I wonder if they employ some counter or computer algorithms to this help avoid human bias. Jeremy, and you're absolutely right, they do. So they will publish what is factored. So I actually have an example. I had one here on my phone. So the last Virgin America and Alaska merger was a 60-40. So they weighed 60% of date of hire to 40% of relative seniority. So that's like your 40% overall in the company, regardless of what the date was, versus somebody who's 80% in the company, regardless of what their date was. So they will use algorithms, Jeremy, to run the numbers, but to get to what percentage of what they use is going to have to be fought over. I hate to say the word fought over, but really it's going to be fought over by both groups until they can come to an agreement. The company, now by law, the company must stay out of it. So JetBlue, like management, everybody, they can stay completely out of it. Spirit management will stay completely out of it. It's based solely upon the elected union members that are going to go to bat for each pilot group. So it'll be interesting. I would expect something close to the Alaska Virgin one, because you look at, it's not going to be exact, but I'm thinking 60-40, 75, maybe 75-25, but it just depends. Like if I was a Spirit pilot as 2015 hire, why should I be punished for choosing an airline that had the most growth to give me the best career expectations versus JetBlue, which is just a stagnant airline from a pilot perspective, right? Why should I be punished for that just because their management is buying our airline? You see what I'm saying? So like, it's just going to be, but there's a counter to that, right? It's the JetBlue pilot is then saying, well, like, why should I have to submit to this captain, be behind this other guy, even though I've been working here longer? So it goes back and forth. There is no perfect solution. That's the problem. There is no perfect solution. Deal could still get nixed by the DOJ. You're absolutely right, Tyson. I don't believe it will, though. My personal opinion about the the Spirit JetBlue merger, I think it's going to pass. And the reason I think it's going to go straight through DOJ is because JetBlue is headquartered in one of the most corrupt political states in the nation. And they have a lot of political playmakers in their back pocket financially and on other levels. So I do not personally believe that JetBlue would have been so aggressive with their attempt to buy Spirit if they knew that the deal would not get passed through. Robin Hayes, the CEO of JetBlue, already has a failed acquisition on his ticket with the Virgin because they tried to buy Virgin in 2016. I don't think he was going to have another one on his record. So he was extremely aggressive, and I think he knew ahead of time that they're indeed going to get passed through DOJ. And even though like the Biden administration says they want to crack down on this type of thing, eliminating competition and all that, I give it an 89.9% chance of success. I would be very surprised. If the deal fell through. Were people happy with the Virgin Alaska deal? Maze, it depends on who you ask, man. You ask one guy, he said, yeah, well, it's worked out good for me. You ask another guy, like, no, this is the worst thing ever, I'm leaving. I'm going to leave aviation altogether. So it just depends. Well, looks like I'm having some network issues. Are we still live? Yeah, we're still live. But, yeah, let's take a look, see what's going on up front here. We'll get back at it. We are about 213 miles out, approaching our top of descent. I got to go ahead and start doing some work here. Let's go ahead and pull this down, bring our iPad back up. What's it look like outside? Got away from some snow. Ooh, that's beautiful. Got our escort out off the, look at that. Look at that front, it must be like some frontal boundary, or maybe not even a frontal boundary because it has to do with the terrain. So these are the mountains over here, you got that terrain, maybe orographical lifting. That's a fancy word out of the weather book. And then over here it's flat, so you don't have any clouds. Cool deal, man. Good stuff. Love the weather in here. In my opinion, government shouldn't be dictating what business do in a free market anyway. I do not disagree, Andre. I think you have a good point. Have you heard the story of Northwest 188? Call me Sticks. I might have. Might have to refresh my memory. I'm gotta remember. I just came out of the sim last week. Had a lot of stuff going on, so my mind is kind of fried. But if I'm not remembering right now. Gino, what's going on, man? Welcome, dude. Welcome. What engine's better, Pratt & Whitney or 3 Leap or Pratt & Whitney? Super deal. Pratt & Whitney all the way, man. Bigger is better. Bigger is definitely better. Don't let anybody tell you any different. Pratt & Whitneys are bigger, diameter. Debatable startup sounds. Which one is better on the startup sounds? But I mean, it just looks cooler, in my personal opinion. My personal opinion. Now, just, you know, when Pratt & Whitney first came out, though, they definitely had some issues. They are not a perfect engine, I will tell you that. I tell you, they are not perfect. But it's all about looks. All right, 7 and 2.5. We are doing the. Did I start? I thought I started. Number 5 VOR, circling to 2.5. So 113.7. We want to cross over the VOR by ATC. We got to be down to 4,000. Let's put 6,000 over the VOR as a hard altitude. What happened to my views there? Let's put 6,000 over the VOR so we have a top of decent. This is 75. I'm going to lower this to 6,000 feet. I don't want to do 180 knots constraint. Insert that. That's going to change our TOD a little bit. Let's see what it does. We also have a company message we need to get onto. You guys keep posting your questions in chat. I'm going to run some numbers here. Just kind of get us set up so we don't get behind the 8 ball. Let me send a weather request out to SAWH. SAWH. Send you off. Return. We're doing a VOR, which is a 1574 plus 50. That's going to be 30 plus 20, 1624. I hope I did my math right. On the perf data page, we'll do 1624 right here. And let's see what kind of weather we have. Let's do return, received, land ops. I was not late. Get out of here. Weather 300 at 14. Temperature, ooh, drizzle. Temperature of 6. Ooh, it's chilly. And altimeter 0981. Wow. Cool. That is set. Let's look at our perf descent. I don't want to do 340. Let's do 330 and 7.8 Mach. That'll also move our TOD. Let's put that in the descent window. Sorry, we'll do. Oh, it's backwards? What the hell? Well, that's weird. I guess that's right. I just thought it was. Uh-oh. Our McDo is locked up. There we go. 7.8. 330 on the speed for descent. 46 miles. The top of descent is set up. Gustavo, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream, sir. Got track air on COVID, but track air on Tolis and Phoenix are a game changer. Man, sorry to hear about the COVID. Glad you're doing all right. Definitely game changer with the track IR, man. Awesome. Awesome. Do you like the LEAP engines then? Yeah, they're all right. I mean, I just prefer the Pratts. I think they look cooler, but some people prefer the LEAPs. Tomato, tomato. I think it was a flight that overshot the destination by a couple hundred miles. Oh, yes. Debating the merger issues. Yeah. I remember that one. Yeah, that's right. Double G says, hi, so I haven't been playing Microsoft lately because my Phoenix signed out on me for no reason. Do you know a way to fix that problem? Because it's my first problem with a payware mod. Double G, so you should be able, Phoenix should automatically log in for you when you launch the airplane in the sim. If not, maybe try your original email that you used to purchase the airplane. That should fix it for you. Flight from San Diego to Mini. Oh, yeah, I remember. Went to silent radio. They flew over the airport and were distracted. Yeah, some said they were on their laptops. Some said they were debating mergers. Some said they were sleeping. I tell you what, that's not a good situation to be in, overflying the destination by that far. I personally think they might have been asleep. They say they were on their laptop. Was that ever confirmed? That's a long... I mean, I can see missing a top of descent, but I don't know, man. That's I don't want to say it's hard to do because you never know the situation that they were in with, but man, they overflew for quite a while. Anyway, I do remember that. Yeah, Patrick David. I heard they were both on their laptops, or one was bidding or something like that. Weird question, but are cargo pilots getting paid more per hour than passengers? Yes. Depends on many things, but in general, yes, Danny Rubel. So some of the best paying airlines in the States, FedEx, UPS right now. But you look at Atlas Air, which flies arguably just as much cargo, they get paid significantly less. So it just depends. But UPS and FedEx are some of the most well-paid pilots in the U.S., which they should be because what they do, their body clock, man, that's hard on the body. Which question prefer one that works? Yes, sir. Do you use Cost NX99 always? No, just on this flight, Russell. How was Colombia? I lived in Medellin, Barranquilla. Where did you fly to? I was in, oh gosh, where did we go? Bogota. I was in Bogota, man, and I loved it. Absolutely. I got out of the airplane. It was like 74 degrees, light breeze, just absolutely beautiful. I had some really awesome shots. I had a picture of an Avianca. Was it Avianca? Yeah, I think it was an Avianca 330. Is that right? I can't remember. It was a heavy. Coming down, landing. I had all these beautiful shots and pictures. My phone got corrupted. Something happened, a brand new phone. I never had the brand new anything of Apple ever. A couple weeks ago, I decided, me and my wife, we were going to just update our phones. We had like iPhone 6s and 7s, so like, let's just get 2 iPhone 13s, call it a day. And my phone like got corrupted. It got corrupted in a backup. I lost 2 years of photos. I lost almost all the photos I had of my second child being born, and like when we were building our house, I lost a lot of those. Basically, 2 years I have no pictures, and my wife had some. She uses Google Photos. Her phone never got messed up, so she still has a lot of some of the really important ones, but a lot of the ones that are important to me, not so much her, like a lot of flying pictures, just cool stuff, man. I lost all of it. I actually got a new phone on Friday, just this last Friday, and I'm just sick about it, man. So lost everything. Lost a lot of stuff. Yeah, you got to keep it back to multiple places. Indeed, chaos, indeed. That is exactly why. I took a couple flights recently in the MAX 8 for the first time ever. Got to say, CFM leaps are nice sounding. There are no IEs or Pratts, but they are very nice. Absolutely. Here's the thing. CFMs on the Boeing. Oh, yeah. They belong on a Boeing. I think they're good. But as far as looks and sounds on an Airbus, I think we have better options. They're having fun with the flight attendants playing cards. Yeah. Investigation confirmed they were reviewing scheduling on their laptops. There you go. Could see that. All right, we're going to set 6,000 because that's what we're going to cross the VOR at. And we're going to manage it up right now. We're going to go mock descent. I don't know if we're going to get any more bumps. I'm going to turn the seatbelt sign on as we start down. Robinson J. Santana has gifted 5 memberships. Shout out to Mr. Santana. Very generous of you, sir. Thank you so much. If you guys receive a membership because of Mr. Santana, make sure you give him a shout out in chat. Tell him thank you. Very kind of you, sir. Welcome aboard all new members. This is a perfect time. I'm going to hit the lav as we start down. Give your shout outs to Mr. Santana. Guys, exclamation point welcome for your new perks on the channel. I got some shorts videos out for you. Post those out. Members only section of the Discord as well. So make sure you new members check that stuff out. The podcast as well. I'm going to release an emergency podcast here very soon too. So be looking forward to that for all my members. That is members only stuff. I'm going to hit the lab because I really need to take a leak. I hope we're going to be fine here. I think we are. 340, we're picking up top of drop. I will be right back. Let me give you a decent song to leave you with here. How about... Sure, this one's fine. I'm going to leave you guys with this song. I'll be back in 2 minutes. We're going to get ready. We're going to brief our VOR approach. See ya. All right, we are back. Let's go ahead and do this, shall we? Let's go ahead and bring... What are we at? We are Oh yeah, 114 miles out. Let's go ahead and bring the music out. Thank you. Go ahead and bring the sim up a little bit. Let's get back. Oop, that's the wrong way. Let's go ahead and bring this up. Let's get flight recorder at least primed up here. Get back into serious mode because we're going to overfly the airport talking about mergers and acquisitions and seniority lists. Don't want to do that. All right, flight recorder is up, ready to go. All right, we're passing Almere. We're looking good there. All right, let's take a look at this approach. Let's get our terrain on ND on as well. Winds were, let's see, 25 would be 50 degrees versus 7 be 30 degrees. We're going to land 25 anyway. Circling approach. So climbing left turn 07, that's the mist. Here we go. Usu VOR 113.7. 270 is the final. 2604 MBA. We'll refer to minimums. DME 8 US. Okay, that's the final approach. Fix. Which is there. Airport elevation is 96 feet. Got some high terrain. So looking at this chart, I didn't see this before. So they have a little hold here until you get to the transition level. What is the trans level here? It's 8,000 feet, or by ATC. That's because it can depend, I guess, greatly on the barometric pressure. Stay within 10 DME, max 110 knots. So we got to do that. What I'm also going to do, I'm going to set, that's for the hold, for the procedure turn. If you need
conflict.
Oh, so we had a TCAS when we weren't there. But we're, I think we're going to be all right. So with the winds out of 300, we'll be coming from the right, it's pretty 50 degrees or so. Let's look at our turn. We want to cross the USU VOR, descending to 4,000 feet till reaching 12 DME. And then we're going to make a left turn to intercept the 273 inbound. So what we're going to do is we're going to back this up here, RadNav page. I'm going to hard tune USU And we're also, we're going to put it on the FO side too. But our primary is a 110 outbound. So we're going to put 110. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put the inbound on my side. The inbound radial is 273. So we're going to put 273, which we're going to flip that. It would actually be 093. But we want 093. 093 inbound, of course. The outbound is 110. So on the FOs, I'm going to do USU. I could have done it on his side too. And it was a 110, correct? Is that right? Yes, 110 outbound, 273 inbound, which is the final approach course. Oh, that is the inbound radial. I didn't have to flip it. It's 093 outbound, so 273 inbound. I had this backwards in my mind. 093, 273. That looks good. Let's go into plan mode here. Well, you can see this on the VOR. I got that set. Let's go plan mode. We're going to zoom it in. 736 drop yet? I sleep. Nope, not yet. All right. Good. Or else we'd have to do another stream in the 600. Look at this. Phoenix has drawn out nicely. So we're going to cross over 6,000 feet. We've got to stay within 12 mile/h here for the turn at 4,000. We're going to join this radial inbound until we can see the airport, and then we're going to do a visual landing. 1624 is the minimum reference. Remember, you can use autopilot down to 500 feet above field elevation in a 320, so let's call it 600 feet because the field is 96, rounded up to 100. So 600 feet, we got to get the autopilot off because we're not going to be tracking anything, LNAV, VNAV. Or you could use your circling minimums minus 100, which in this case, 1574, call it 1474. You could run the autopilot down to there, whichever is more conservative. So in that case, you would actually have to use the circling minimums minus 100 for autopilot reference. All of this stuff is already in the box, which is good. I could put an additional fixed info ring here. I'm going to do a 12. Is this the hold here? Ushuaia. So this is the hold. So I'm going to put a 10-mile radius around Ushuaia as well. Ushuaia. We don't need ball anymore. We can clear that one out. In case we have to go missed, or in case we need to do a turn in the hold, we've got to stay within 10. So I'll have that as well. But we know our turn is going to be out past that at 12 miles. So that is good. We got our minimum set for reference. TCAS I have control. Range reduce. He's 1,200 feet below us. We're looking good. We're out of 18,000 feet. We're really getting bumped around now. Sun is setting. Wow, look at those engines are shaking. Do you guys have the table for when to do the standard to ATC altimeter? No. You mean like what the transition level will be? A table for that? No. I think we rely on ATC for that one. Like what the trans level is at that point. Yeah, I do not have a table for that. I think that's where you're going with it. All right, we've reviewed our landing data. I don't know why I'm having that's a disconnect issue. I'll see if I can rejoin. We're really getting bumped around. Let's do a landing data assessment here real quick. Yeah, that's our F-16. That is our F-16, man. We're going to land on 2.5. We're going to say it's good. Landing weight right now is 136.8. So we're going to do 136.8. 136.8. Enter that. We're going to do low brakes, full reverse, manual, flaps full. Wow. We are just getting beat up right now coming down. Look at this. Oh my gosh, look at these views though. The sun is getting ready to set down here. That's right. I forget how far east we actually are right now. As far as, in relation to Texas. Like sometimes when you look at a map, you think straight up and down, North and South America, but we're actually pretty far east coming down here to Ushuaia. Ushuaia? Shoot, I forget how to say it. Transition level will be 1,000 above transition altitude. Oh, you're talking about 9,000. Okay, for that guy. Yeah, they're wiggling, Steven. Hope the winds are getting fixed in the next update. I hope so, too. I think there's a lot of stuff coming in the next update. Have you guys, how was the beta? I haven't been I don't do the beta. I know Sim Update 10, like optional beta, right? You can run it. Have you guys been running it? I'm sticking with just the release variants. What did we say the meter was? It was 0981. Which we'll have to convert that when we get down here a little bit further. Alright, we're 12.8, descending 6. Actually, let's do this. Let's go here. Let's go here. Because you don't want to descend in a terrain. It's actually a big change here. Yeah, I know, we get an alt discrepancy. 2897. Good grief. That's 0981. I should have synced these up. Alright, we are approaching some icing conditions. Yes, -3. Let's get our engine anti-ice on. Engine anti-ice is on. Definitely got some moderate turbulence here. The beta's great.
Ushuaia traffic, land 515, double line for ILS, runway 25 on Ushuaia,
Ushuaia? That's quite the view. This is crazy how far south we are. Alright, let's go ahead and select speed. I'm going to come back to 250. Manuals. Oh, we got a TCAS alert. We're going to hold off. Shoot, 400 feet closing. Level off. A climb. Alright, TCAS I have control. Autopilot off. Flight director's off. Keep it in the green band. Level off.
Clear of conflict.
There we go. Recover.
It was my fault. I lost you in the clouds. I'm pulling away.
No worries. All right, let's go autopilot back on. Let's go open descent down to 6,000. Let's go direct to Usu. There we go. We're thrust idle, open descent nav. Let's get our flight directors on. I totally rebuilt that automation incorrectly. And let's go ahead and get our lights on out of 10. We don't have any ATC on, so we'll get both of them on. 10.3 descending to 6,000 for the VOR. Holy views right now. Oh my. Holy views. Might as well go to Antarctica. Ushuaia. Ushuaia. When in icy conditions, you only use engine anti-ice. In the real airplane, we only use engine anti-ice until you have visual ice accretion on the aircraft, and then you would turn on wing anti-ice. So for the Airbus, yes, you only turn on the wings and when you start seeing ice accumulate. If you're just in icing conditions, but you don't see anything accumulating, yeah, we run the engine anti-ice. Man, that looks amazing, though. Definitely juicy indeed, Gnar. Definitely juicy. Look at this mountain we're crossing over. 75 knot tailwind? Holy crap, we're going to be high and fast here, I think. We also need to finally get some cockpit lighting on. Ooh, we get to use it for real. Integral lighting can come on. The floodlight on a little bit. Make it nice and cozy in here. Ooh, yeah, let's warm it up, make it nice and cozy. I hate flying around cold, so I'm going to warm it up. Is there a boat frozen in the lake? Are there frozen boats down here? Ushuaia traffic, land Chile 357. We're crossing over the VOR at 6,000. We're going to proceed outbound for the VOR 25. Ushuaia. Wow, this is some serious. We'll get speed brake out. Help us get down. Let's go tiller cam on.
For that traffic, this is line 515,
No, you got plenty of time. You got plenty of time. We'll go in behind you. All right, we're going to slow up to 180 knots straight away. We're at 6,000. We're going to proceed outbound. I'm going to put nav VOR up to back him up. You can see I've got my course as backup here. We can see that we're going to track that outbound. Go back to arc mode though. We can fly this in green needles. VFE next minus 10. Let's go ahead and go flaps 1 initially. And what was our restriction here? 4,000 feet outbound. Oh my gosh, these views. Let's go open, thrust throttle open, descent nav down to 4,000 feet. There's VFE next minus a few. Let's go flaps 2. Oh, okay, so if we were north, it would be about Edmonton. Latitude, right? I got you, T-Mac. This is definitely the southern edge. Look at the weather. Okay, let's go ahead and start recording, because this is going to be a hell of a replay. We're going to start recording right now. I think that was our F-16. Look at the water down there. I think we're going to have some problems with this, folks. Wow, the rain shaft. This part of the world is going to be very windy. Well, great. Probably should have taken a different airplane. Because of a high crosswind, we are going to go low brakes. What is our landing data say with low brakes? I think we have plenty, right? Yeah, 6,500. Yeah, we're going to stick with low brakes. I'm going to use auto
Sniper
brakes.
One's going to loiter at low altitude, give you guys plenty of space to land.
Speed out star. That'll give us plenty of equal braking crosswind here. So you can see VOR. I might have messed that up. Oh, there's 110 outbound. What? I don't know where I got 093. So there's 110 tracking outbound on the rad nav, backing it up. That looks good. FO's got me on VOR nav. Alright, he's established. I'm going to slow down even more. We're going to come to 160. We're going to go a little bit. Whoa. A little bit out of sequence here. And it looks like for VREF, we can go VLS. We're in selective speed. We'll activate, confirm. We can go up to VLS plus 15, which would be 146. So I'm going to go 144 on the VAP. Give myself a little buffer here. We're 4,160. After we cross this waypoint, we can descend as we turn inbound to 2,700 until passing 12 DME. Oh no, until passing 8 DME, which we can descend down to our final descent altitude, which we set up as 1624. These views are incredible. Yep, it will be slightly offset, Dimitri. So once we get visual reference with the runway, we can break away and hand fly. A Concorde landed here once? For real, Steven? Oh my goodness. I am using flight recorder. Flight recorder is what I'm using. It's going to be a really long replay. I probably should have. Oh well. If it's still 15 knots, it's technically above the self-imposed Phoenix limit. There you go. Very good, Chaos. And what I will do as well is I'm probably going to intentionally land a little bit side-loaded, so I don't have that rudder steer off when my nose comes down. I might intentionally give us a little bit of side load here, but look at this shot. Are you kidding me? Wow. We should start a little bit of rain. Oh my gosh, I love the weather in this sim. 2,700. We're going to try flaps full. I probably could have done a flaps 3 landing on this. You know what? Screw it. Let's do it. Let's clear VAP out. You really don't want to do this last minute. We're going to do config 3. Gives us 136, so I'm going to go 140. That could be 151, right? So I'm going to just add 10 to that. I'm going to go straight to 146, config 3. We're going to land flap 3 as
Ushuaia
well.
traffic, land 515, establish on ILS, runway 25, Ushuaia.
Side traffic, land Chile 357. We're turning kind of an extended base to final here. We are 15 miles out. We're a little bit closer than that. I don't have DME, am I?
Roger that, we can slow down so you can land first.
Roger that. I think I just picked you up on the TCAS. Yeah, we're turning inbound now on that offset VR.
Sounds good.
All right, cool. We're 2,700. Here comes our waypoint. From here, we can descend down to our minimum, 1624. Oh, no, we can't. We got to wait a little bit longer. Oh, my views. Pixelated Wolf, the vent things up here? I believe it's just some, I don't know, some type of intake. It's a NACA duct. 47 knot headwind on approach. Let's run a landing data with flap 3 here with real weather. Let's see what it does. We're going to do flap 3. Apply current METAR 7,000. Medium brake. You know what? I like medium brake more. Let's go medium brakes, flaps 3. Screw it. Medium brakes, flaps 3. A little bit out of the ordinary. At this point, theoretically, we could go VDEV and approach, actually arm this up. Could app nav this VOR approach, can't we? Yeah, we're final app nav. Final blue app nav. Depending on your operator, you may not be able to fly a VOR approach in that final app. Or speed 160. I think that's the runway right there. Because of the wind, we're going to use flap 3. It'll help with the go around, gives us a little bit more control, a little bit faster approach speed. Plus, we haven't done a flaps 3 landing in forever. I don't even know if I've ever done a flaps 3 landing in the Phoenix. Look at this view. Look at those clouds. That just crazy, man. Here comes 2700. Or here comes our fix. Macy Whales breaching. Wow. Here comes our vertical deviation brick. This terrain. This is incredible. All right, we have final app. If we have to go mist or go around altitude,
2,500.
eventually is 8,000. So I'm just gonna set 8,000. I know it says 6,000 there, but eventually it's 8. I'm gonna just set 8 to be safe. Final lap. Pretty sure that is the airport. That is the airport. We have 118 knot ground speed. Whales right off the nose. Oh my gosh, look at that. There's freaking whales. There's whales. Are you kidding me? They're not splashing. Uninstalling. There's freaking whales breaching. Look at screenshot. Guys, this is getting up there with one of the most cinematic approaches I've ever done. Perfect timing. Dude, this is real weather, real time. My goodness. Beautiful. All right, we are going to go ahead and go manage speed. Oh, ground speed mini is coming into play. Gear down. Flaps 3. We are activated, right? The ground speed mini is interessante. All right, there's the runway. I'm going to go autopilot off. Flight director's off. Give me the bird. Bird's in chat. Runway is in sight. Let's go ahead and offset.
Minimum.
Slight tad to the right. Oop, cut on the smooth brakes. Look at our ground speed mini. That's crazy. So you see the vertical deviation brick is going to go above us now. That's right. I'm visual with the runway. because of this strong crosswind, I actually want to get on track with the final approach course so I can see what my crosswind correction is going to be here. So I'm going to come swinging to the right. Old Potato, I have no idea if they're part of the scenery or not. This is the Simulation Extreme Ushuaia.
1,000.
I can see 2 reds, 2 whites. Wow, this reminds me of an approach I did in LaGuardia one time. Broke out. I'm like, where's the runway? Literally had to look at the runway out of my direct vision window because the crosswind was like 42 knots or something. Kind of wish I had track IR on right now. Man, look at that ground speed mini, 165 knots. Whoa, 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 we just lost it all of a sudden. That, my friends, is why you have an additive. All right, correcting. That is why you have an additive on your approach speed. I'm okay coming in on 3 reds on this one. There we go. We're back on the path now. Keep it in the slot. Wind is trailing off. Our ground speed mini's coming down. We're flaps 3. Gears down. Cleared to land. I hope this is all. I'm coming to South America. This is too cool. All right, I'm going to land side loaded 50, intentionally here.
40, 30, 20. Retard.
I can't do it mentally. I got to straighten it out a little
5.
bit. We'll see what happens. All right, I'm going to try to just hold it. Try to kick it over. Hold on to it. There it is. $70 knots. Manual brakes. We could actually go ahead and stow them. We've got a lot of runway left. Wow. My chair rocked back too. Whew. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ushuaia. What was that touchdown? That felt pretty good. That felt pretty good on the touchdown. Little bit squirrely. I should get a rudder cam. I was really dancing on the rudder to try to keep it center line when that nose came down. Because like as soon as I straightened it out, I was like, all right, I got to get the input out.
Landing on runway 25. Ushuaia traffic.
Ushuaia traffic, land Chile 357. We're clearing here at Alpha. Thank you. Good landing. Or happy landings. That's what I meant to say.
Thanks a lot. Green landing for you too.
All right, let's go ahead and clear here. You're not clear of the runway. I'm going to report you to the FAA because you said you're clear. I think that happened to what? Citation Max? Or not Citation Max. Somebody it happened to. Let's go ahead and clear. And let's go ahead and watch his landing because he's so close. We'll just go ahead and stop it here. Brake set. Disarm you. Reconfig. Let's go insert. Let's go spacebar. And rotate said camera. We gotta watch this guy's landing. And let's go camera speed. Let's just see how this guy does here. What was it Blue Mac? Was it a 4? No way. Was that a 4? Felt good. I don't know if it felt that good. I'll take it though. I will never complain. Premiere One driver. Exactly. Exactly. Oh, we can stop recording now. Whew, that was a long replay. Record.
Ushuaia traffic, Viper 1's going to tuck in behind landing traffic after clear the runway for a low-level, high-speed pass over the field. Ushuaia traffic.
Zoom in a little bit. I need to bind the zoom one. There we go. We'll do about 75% zoom. I think I saw Viper 1 over there somewhere. All right, look at the crab this guy has. I'm going to keep it on the 1,000-footers here so you guys can judge. Great scenic route, Captain. Gotta get to the... I gotta go book. See you on the next one. Dimitri, take it easy, man. Thank you for stopping by, my friend. Kai, no, I believe it means you still have to pay for it. I think we all do. I'll go back to live cam so you don't need to see that. All right, here it comes. Got that crosswind in there. Hang on to it. Hang on to it. Oh, nice. Ooh, get that right wing down. Get that right wing down. There you go. Oh, get that right wing down. And that's the Phoenix being a Phoenix there, a centerline control. Not bad, though. Hey, He's down and safe. Let's go ahead and get out of his way. Let's go ahead and park it. Not bad. Not bad. We're going to leave all lights on for replay. Nicely done, man.
Thanks a lot. It was more difficult than I expected.
A little spicy down here. Wow, I'm coming to this airport. This airport's officially on my bucket list. Officially on my bucket list. This is a long way from home, I'll tell you that. What the hell? I don't even know how I would get here. Like, I'm gonna have to fly probably to, I don't even know. Whoa, F350 just overflew the ramp. All right, let's go ahead and park over here. Engine anti-ice is still on because we're on contaminated surfaces. We're going to take, is this gate 02? It's one of those weird turn-ins, so we'll just do this here like this. Crank it over. Oh, I ran out of juice. Keep it coming, keep it coming. Looking good.
And Viper 1's going to circle around for landing runway 25. We'll attempt this high wind landing here.
No pressure. Right on the money. Ooh, we even have a marshaller. With one wand. Where's Blue Games? He would never marshal someone in with one wand. I don't want to hit that truck, my friend. Oh. Oh. Brakes are set. From Texas, how far is it? 6,000 miles? I don't know, man. It's far. It's probably somewhere close. Probably somewhere close to that. All right, we're down. He's coming into the gate. Awesome, awesome. Let's do a replay. We'll go replay mode. We're going to disconnect from a VAT sim. And we're going to go back to here. Not all the way there. Let's come in here. You know what I like about this replay system? Oh, I never reconfigured. Son of a gun. That's right. It'll do it if I resume it. If I extend flaps manually, turn the brake off, the flaps will come out. Cool. Let's watch this, shall we? How far out are we on this one? Oh, we're turning final here, I think. This is cool. I like this scenery down here. This is incredible. I have to come here. This is on the bucket list officially. Gonna take Mrs. V1 down here at some point. Alright, we're gonna speed up. I'm gonna leave y'all with a long replay. Let's go ahead and get to that landing. Let's get to the juice. Alright, so you could see the wind is ripping down there, just the water. You know, even as an airline pilot, you know, we're taught to look at other signs of wind direction, right? You know, we've got ATIS, obviously, that can tell us what's going on. That if you just look for smokestacks, look for wind coming off the water, things that you typically do much more frequently at a general aviation level, can still really help you out here in situations like this. Coming in over the water, how is it coming in over the water? Because you can't, you know, the wind at the airport might be a little bit different than right here, just because there could be some terrain or something in the way. So could be changing the wind direction. That is incredible. Look at this crab angle. Holy crap. Print screen. Where was print screen? Alright, so at this point, this is when I was trying to get us right. Still trying to get us to the right. 45 knots. And then we lost it all of a sudden there. We lost 20 knots, but that's all right. We got a little low. Let's see how we do here. We'll watch the inside one first. Cartage of Wall, what's going on, man? Good to see you, dude. Been a while. Been a minute. Got her down. Flap 3. Oh yeah, that was nice. That was nice. Let's go ahead and bring it back. Let's watch that. That felt good. Do another one here. Jeez, this water is awesome with the ice floating and everything. Brian, take it easy, man. Have a good one. Thank you for stopping by. All right, we'll watch one from the outside here. There was that wind shift dropped off. Remember, if you're landing in super gusty winds, you can add up to VLS plus 15. So whatever your VLS is, you can add all the way up to 15 knots and be safe. A little bit of range shaft here. Turn it in. Oh, this is a hell of a replay. Fubar, take it easy, my friend. We'll catch you on the next one. My grandparents have been to Ushuaia, and they say it's one of the most beautiful places they've ever been to. I believe it, man. All right, here we go. So we straightened her out. How'd we do? 22 knot crosswind. We got her straight. Buttered her on. Nose come down, and yeah, I tried to save it. We did all right. Definitely a little swirly post touchdown. Take a look at these wheels touching down. Oh yeah, we rocked them on. I'll take that. Right as the nose comes. Yep. Hey. That's alright though. I will take that indeed. Wow, how far back does this go? This goes all the way back. Alright, I'm gonna leave it here. We're gonna resume it here. We're gonna leave you guys with this. What light is on? I keep hearing the lights going. We're gonna get sail going. Oh, I must have turned my landing lights off. I didn't know I did. Guys, this was awesome. This is as far south as we're going to go on the South America tour. Thank you for hanging out with me today. It's been a couple days since we streamed. Hopefully it won't be that long before I see you guys next time. We are finally going to start heading back northbound. We are officially halfway done with the tour. We're headed northbound. And it's going to be a lot of fun. We got Rio de Janeiro. We're going to land in the Amazon somewhere. I want to do that. We might stop at Uruguay because someone said no one ever flies there. We might just check it out. Buenos Aires. It's going to be a lot of fun going northbound. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Hope you enjoyed today's stream. I think we might be in the BAE 146 on the next one. No promises yet. I'll probably put a vote out there for the commercial pilot members to see what airplane we're going to be flying next. Unless that 600 can drop. You guys are awesome. Thanks for hanging out with me. If I don't see you this weekend, have a fantastic weekend. I will catch you all on Monday. Stay safe. Stay healthy. I'm V1. See ya.
Speed, speed, speed.